What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Chess Giants Roy Solo. Today's video, we're continuing our Saragasso speedrun with c3 followed with black playing c6, going into a Caro-Kann type system. I mean, guys, for you Caro-Kann players, semi-solid players playing c6 and d5 is black, guys, c3 is a great option. For some reason, c3 gets looked down upon a lot, but I mean, really, we're playing a Caro-Kann, but with the tempo up. Here, I mean, very simple game plan, very good for beginners as well. We're going to play c3, d4, no matter what the opponent plays, knight f3. And then in a position like this, I mean, I want to activate my bishop. I kind of like to wait, though, to see where this knight goes. I mean, if knight f6, can always just play a move like bishop g5. You know, we could always play a move like bishop f4 here, which is definitely playable as well. I think in this game I'll play bishop f4, followed by e3, forming this pawn pyramid. Notice how we got this bishop active first and then played e3. Now we do have this bishop on the back rank, but it is on the opposite color of the pawn pyramid here, so it's going to have a lot of mobility going forward. Bishop g4. I mean, if you want to trade off the bishop, I'm cool with that. c4 is played here. I mean, this is what I see often. I see this quite a bit. I mean, black here, you know, just trying to create some havoc on the queen side. This may be a little bit premature, because I mean, we could start playing ideas like b3 here, just making sure it doesn't run into a queen a5 option for black. I mean, takes, queen captures on c3. Depends how you cut that one up. e4. You could also just play a move like bishop e2, right, and just castle kingside. But I mean, let's play b3, right? Let's put some immediate pressure on c4. See what black comes up with. We see a capture. Queen takes b3 is played. Okay, we'll just take on b7. We're attacking the knight now. Rook c8 is seen. We'll play bishop b5. This is, I mean, guys, this happens quite a bit when playing the Saragasso. It's just hard to go against. I mean, obviously, we just won the queen there. We're taking the bishop off, and now this is just winning. We're up 13 points of material. Okay, knight e5. We're eyeing bishop t6 ideas. I mean, this is resignable for black for sure. Knight there, I mean, okay. I mean, let's just play a move like f3. I don't really care that I'm losing a pawn. I mean, I'm up 13 points, so let's just make this simple. Knight g3 is played. Okay, I'll just move my rook over one square. Knight f5. We can now continue with e4. And okay, finally we get our bishop d6 move in, attacking this rook. Play bishop e7 now. Seems as if black might lose more material. Bada bing, bada boom. Bishop g3 is a move there. King e2. Rook f1. Rook f3. I mean, obviously this is a pretty simple win. This knight is holding on, but I can just play g4, g5, maybe e5 first, right? Ask that bishop where it's going. Okay, sometimes you give up material just to simplify things down. I'm giving up a rook. I'm giving up a second rook, but black in return is having to give up the few pieces that they have left. And now I'll be able to throw my queen into e8. And take an f7. Just a second ago, guys, I was ahead 13 points of material. Now I'm up 5, but this is just an easier win, right? King f4, king g5. Start pushing these pawns. I mean, if you're up 13 points of material or 5, it doesn't really matter in the end game. Both are winning. e6, d6, push this guy up, make a queen. Try not to stalemate him because that would be heartbreaking. Can we all agree that there's nothing worse than like stalemating your opponent when you have a completely won game? Okay, he wants a rematch. Let's do it. Okay, so we're playing c6, guys. Caro-Kann type system, followed by d5. We'll take towards the center here. Okay, knight f6, knight c6, knight c3 is played. Interesting option here for white. I mean, yeah, you could argue this is a little bit premature, because we could eventually get a bishop on b4. But okay, I mean, we'll put a bishop on f5. We'll play e6. We will pin that knight on b4 without even hesitating. We will give white some bad pawn structure. Play h6. Bishop f4, I mean, okay, let's play knight e4, attack that pawn on c3. Make it a target right out of the gate. Queen e1. Okay, so here white, you know, holding on to that pawn, but obviously this rook is now, can't even move. I think I will just continue with rook c8 now. And b6, I want to eye knight a5 and knight c4 ideas. On top of that, we're just threatening the pawn. Bishop d2 is played. Let's throw our knight in here. By the way, this is kind of a Nimzo Indian type idea. I actually learned it first from Roman Djindjiashvili. There's a line in which we play b6, bishop a6, and then kind of maneuver this knight over. I made a video on it, and you can check it out if you'd like to. It's against the sameness variation. But yeah, I wasn't trying to do a shameless plug there. I was more just talking. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely a fun way to play, especially when you see pawns like this and a hole on c4. In this position, I'm trying to see, okay, which knight do I take with? I'll just take with this guy. It's fine either way. Okay, rook there. I'll say thank you for the other rook. If you want to trade down, I'm cool with that as well. King captures back. Let's play f6. Yeah, so, by the way, guys, this is called a hole in chess because for the rest of this game, not a single white pawn will be able to attack the square unless, of course, this pawn somehow captures on d3 or b3. Knight h5 is, or knight g4 is played. I'll just castle kingside now. I could have played bishop f3, but I don't know. Queen takes e6. Gets kind of messy. Why make things hard, you know, more complicated when you don't have to? We'll just take that pawn off the board now. We're up 6 points of material. Queen c8 is a decent option for black. h4. Yeah, white there trying to make some activity, but we'll just keep going through here. They'll get the pawn, but we'll just sidestep our king over. This bishop is defending key light squares, as well as this pawn on f6 covering e5 at the moment. h5 is played. I mean, just play a move like bishop e4, right? Cover some light squares there. Knight e3. We can play queen c8, offering up a trade. We're up material, so I mean, if we're able to trade down, that's just going to make the game easier for us. Queen d6. We will attack the queen again. Queen there. We will yet again attack the queen. Let's play bishop d3 with check. And then I think a position like this, guys, I really have no problem just giving up the exchange again. If you can make the game more easy for yourself, why not? Being up 4 points of material or 6 doesn't really matter. I mean, guys, there's just no way that this king's going to survive very long. Looking at queen c2 check ideas, queen g2, king h2, or sorry, queen h2 check, king over, queen e2. Okay, I mean, let's just... Honestly, bishop f5 actually seems to work. Notice how there's really no perpetuals against the king, because once our king is on h7, I mean, there's going to be no more checks because it's bishop on f5. Obviously, if this bishop wasn't here, white could just go queen e8 and queen g6 and just get a draw, but that's not going to work here. We're obviously threatening mate in 1, and there's no real great way for white to stop that. Queen g6 will capture back. Queen e8 will go up again. The only check now is just to get with the queen, which is what we see. But okay, we'll take back with the king. And we'll play f5. Yet again, threatening a mate in 1. This king is getting out of there, but in that case, let's just throw our king at f3. Queen g2, game over. Let's keep it rolling. Shout out to y'all who've been following this channel. Shout out to my guy Pepper Westwood. I know that you're an avid Saragossa players, white. Major respect for that. Love that opening for white. I mean, honestly, I'm thinking about playing it in upcoming tournaments. I'm going to make a push for National Master, which I'm excited about. So hopefully I can make that happen. Bishop e2. So here white going for a birds opening type game. In that case, our game plan is not really going to change. Let's get this bishop out first, right, before we play e6. Now we have our pawn pyramid. We can play a move like knight d2. By the way, this is a good way to play the bird. I actually really like what they're doing here. A bird with b3 and bishop b2. Very hard to go against. This bishop is very active. I don't want to allow knight e5, so I'm going to take and then play bishop t6. Try to play e5 myself. In fact, I'm going to play it immediately. f5 is played. Okay, I'll just play queen e7, start to try to fortify my center as much as I can. e4 there from white. I could capture. Play a move now like bishop c5 potentially. Castling queen's head actually looks fun because the rook is immediately going to go against the queen. So we see queen e2, and now is black. Okay, we got knight b6 is interesting to say the least. I'm not super, I'm not super happy about where this knight is. It's not like this knight's super active at the moment, but it can get this bishop involved with bishop check and then bishop d4 ideas. A5, I'd like to play a5, but of course that becomes a target potentially. Probably just play king b8, try to solidify the position of my king a little bit. Knight a3 is seen. In that case, we will, just throwing a little check on c5. Play rook d7, try to get this rook over to d8. Be ready to capture back. a5, I got knight c8 ready to go. Knight c4. So here white obviously putting a lot of pressure on the e5 pawn. So I'm going to respond by just playing bishop there to d4. Bring the bishop back. b4 is played. Let's just play bishop d6. Bishop c7 was probably going to be the next move. I can now take back with the rook. Kind of interesting position here. I mean, my piece is not very active. At the same time, this bishop on f3 is looking pretty bad. I do have control of the d file, which is nice, and I'm one step away from having a triple battery arm. I'd say my big weakness here is the knight on c8, so I got to find a way to get this active later on in this game. Bishop a3. In that case, let's just slide this queen over, and just try to take control of that open file. b5 cannot be played because we would just take the bishop. Rook d1, in that case, I am totally cool with just trading off and then winning that pawn on e4. So we got two knights versus two bishops. I actually personally really like knights in the endgame. I know most people like bishops, and the experts all say that bishops are better, but I personally, especially in speed chess, bullet chess, time controls like this, knights are they're just hard. They're very hard to predict. Bishops, on the other hand, you kind of know where they're going. Knights have a lot of range of mobility. I'll just bring that knight back to d6. Okay, I don't want that to happen, so I'll just play h6. Notice what I did. Guys, by putting these pawns on the dark squares, this bishop on g8 really has no way to move. You can put pawns on whatever colors you want. Because I have knights, these knights are always going to be effective. So that's why I personally like knights in the endgame. Of course, middle game opening bishops can be extremely dangerous. I'm going to take on c3 now. Capture off this bishop. As always, I'm down on time, so I got to hurry it on up. Knight d5 going back, attacking that pawn. Bishop d2, we got knight e4 check. Bishop a3, knight b5. Okay, so we throw in a check. We're going to take that bishop off. Take that pawn off. So we're now at 4 pawns of material. Check. King, I meant to play king d6, but okay. That's how it goes sometimes. g6, want to play f5. Start to expand. Check again. Get my king up here. Okay, yeah, king d4. Just keep making progress. No need to play anything crazy. b5, c4. Keep everything in tandem with each other. And okay, we're continuing now. As always, Saragossa Chess. My guy Pepper Westwood. Also a big avid fan of this opening. It's just so easy to play. You play c3, you play d4. You could practically just pre-move knight f3 as well. You see a move like knight f6. Let's activate this bishop before playing e3. Now the big decision is, does black want to let us play e3 first, which would allow us to take with e takes d4 at some point, or do they want to capture right away? Obviously, by black doing this so quick, they are limiting our options because we do have to take towards the center of the board. But okay. It's not like this is bad at all. In fact, this does give us some benefits, including the c file for our rook, which we're going to waste very little to no time doing. Play a3. I don't want to allow any bishop b4 ideas. Play e3 here. Knight e4, interesting. In that case, let's take this knight first, right? If I take on e7, there's potential knight takes c3 ideas. So let's take the knight first, and let's capture on e7. Let's play knight d2 and make this pawn a target. That is usually how I go about it. f5 is going to be forced here. Well, at least most of the time it's going to be forced. e5. I don't really know if that's the right call, honestly. I mean, I just played d5, and this knight's going to have to run, and I'm just going to win the pawn now. Notice how this a3 move, guys, has really just helped us out, because, I mean, it's going to help us for the rest of the game, but notice queen b4 check was not able to be played, all right? And that's because we played a3 all the way back at move 7. So, you know, throwing moves in the opening like a3 and h3 definitely don't hurt. On top of that, by playing a move like h3, and if you castle kingside, you're not going to get back rank mated. At least, you know, not even close as much. Not even as, you know, nearly as often. So bishop f5 attacking the knight. I'm not really threatening to lose the knight because I could just check and then get it right back. I'm looking at ideas like d6. Is that too aggressive? It might be, but I don't really care. I'm gonna play it anyways. d6, attack the queen. See where this queen's gonna go. Queen d8. In that case, let's throw a little check. Looks good, but then at the same time, queen a5 ideas can come into the air. Knight c5. Let's go with knight c5. Kind of get our knight out of the line of fire. Obviously, queen a5 trying to win the knight doesn't work because of b4. I think black made the right call there, getting the king the heck out of there. Knight takes b7. Could be played. I'll probably just... Man, should I just take that? Of course, that runs into queen b6, so that's not really going to work. I could play queen d5 here, which is definitely crazy, to say the least. Let's do it. Queen d5. Let's see, we got knight c6, bishop c4. Trying to put some pressure there. Queen check, b4, knight takes. Okay, so I miscalculated that a little bit. I'm going to have to run with the king to f1. It's hard. I mean, we are attacking f7, so this rook can't leave. Queen b6 is played. In that case, let's continue by pushing our pawn up. This queen, it's hard for black to get this queen to go anywhere at the moment. I mean, this is really thanks to the knight. I mean, bishop e6 could really hurt us if we're, depending on the situation. As always, I'm down on time. Could play e4 here. Footy Dragon, very interesting name. e4. See where this bishop's going. Play f3 now. I'm trying to get this bishop out of here so that I can play knight d7. Whole idea being I want to win that rook. So I get the rook. Bishop takes f3 is interesting. We don't see that though. Queen d3. Got to trade down here, guys. I'm up 3 points of material. Or at least get the queen out of there. Rook d1. Knight d4. Okay, queen d2. That knight is very annoying. Queen e3. King f2 is the move there. So I'm up 2 points of material. Obviously better, but I am running out of time. Bishop d5. Attacking the knight. Play rook g1. Okay, so gosh, the ratio on time is not very good for us. I mean, he does have 56 seconds, but I got 22, which is not great. G4 might be the move unless he does that, in which case we'll play rook there. I want to get rid of that knight really bad, so let's do it. Okay, in that case, king e3. I want to play bishop takes f7, but my opponent doesn't want to allow that because they are a good chess player. h3, rook d2. Okay, rook there, king there, king there, king there. We might get a draw unless he goes for the win. Okay, I mean, you just gave up a queen, bro. King over, king back, rook there, pawn there. Start capturing off, take there, queen g6, drop a rook in, queen there, rook over, game over. Let's keep it rolling. Saragasso chess is white, very effective, very easy to play. And then it's black, same thing, c6. Obviously here we're playing a Caro-Kann. Okay, so in this kind of situation, it's up to you. You can play d5 if you'd like. You could also wait a little bit, play e6 first. In any case, okay, I mean, we're reaching a pretty similar position as before. We'll play knight f6 here. Now the big question is, does white want to take on d5, right? If they do this, they're going to have an isolated pawn. In one sense, this is an advantage for them because they're going to have space. On another sense, this isolated pawn on d4 could become a big, big weakness. So you just got to be careful. As black, I'm just going to keep playing calm here. a6. Okay, I'll capture on d5 now. So guys, this pawn on d4 is giving white a big advantage in space. On the other hand, though, this could become a weakness, right? I usually don't recommend capturing on c3 because that kind of just solves all of white's problems in a single move. I think here bishop e6 is an interesting option. Knight g5, take on c3, take on e6, take the queen. Yeah, let's play bishop e6, eyeing that bishop on c4 a little bit. We can now capture back. And this is actually what we want. We want a queen on d5. We want the ability to just kind of start developing our pieces. Actually, I might just play a move like rook d8 now, putting as much pressure as we possibly can on that pawn. I mean, in that case, let's just say thanks for the pawn on d4. We'll take back with the queen. And all of a sudden, we're up a pawn. Of course, we are a little bit underdeveloped, so we got to be careful here. Let's play a move like, I mean, f6 doesn't really solve everything. Let's start with e6 here. See what Master Yoda 96 comes up with. Bishop e7, defending the d8 square. Okay, so this is hard, right? I am up a pawn, but how can I save the pawn? So I got to think ahead a little bit here. f6, king f7, rook d7 is played. A little bit ugly for me. Bishop f6 could be played. Yeah, let's play bishop f6. Try to eye that pawn a little bit. Obviously, I'm not actually threatening anything at the moment, but I am threatening in one sense to castle, because if I castle and then rook d7, I'd still win that pawn. So now I can castle, which I'm going to do. I think that's the best way to go about it. Rook d7 is going to happen one way or the other. I mean, rook b8. I want to play b6. Bishop b6, though, just obviously getting in the way of that. Okay, let's play h6. Give my king some breathing room. King there. Okay, I'm fine with giving out the pawn potentially to get the pawn on a2. I also got ideas now like rook c6, which obviously attacks the bishop. In that case, let's throw in a little check-Arinsky. King up. We can bring the bishop back. Okay, rook c6 is played. So now we're sitting immaterial. Definitely could have hung on to that pawn better than I did. But it's hard. I mean, a position like that, it is hard to navigate because it's like, at what point, you know, do you just go, okay, I could just give you the pawn back. We did get the pawn back, though, with that maneuver. a5 is played. a4. We'll trade off. So now we're sitting at 4 versus 2, but just a drawn game, honestly, if white plays it correctly. Bring the rook back. We'll check. I'll bring the rook back. Okay, I mean, if you want to draw, I'm okay with that. Rook check. Rook check. King there. Rook there. Now I got rook there ideas, potentially. Okay. I mean, I'm all for an active king, but that may have not been the right way to go about it for white. e5. Obviously, I'm still running down on the clock. Rook h3. Rook h4. Bishop g5. Offering up a trade. King f4. Boom. Boom. Okay, thank you for the rook at that point. I'm just winning this. Already was winning, but, you know, with the clock, it was somewhat of an issue. Okay, Saragossa opening chess c3, can pre-move d4. As always, knight f3. Okay, bishop g5, let's activate our bishop. We can now play knight d2, eyeing e4 ideas, potentially c5 is played in that case. I'm just going to keep it cool. Queen a5. Okay, I don't really care. I'm just going to continue with my bishop d3 move as always. I can now take with the e-pawn. This is how I prefer to play. You can take with the c-pawn as well, but I kind of like taking with the e-pawn because it gives me a lot of range on this e-file for my rook. e5, wow. Is my opponent studying the opening theory? That was a very quick move. It looks good, honestly, but black does need to be careful. Although, same time, I mean, I just take it, right? And then play knight c4. Queen c7 is played. I could take on g6, then play knight d6 with check. Could also just capture it off the board. Now I can castle kingside. Rook d8. Okay. Let's play queen e2. Defend that knight. Play rook. That doesn't quite work. I mean, if I go there, rook takes e5, bishop f4. Maybe. We'll play there. So here, black might try to get a rook for 2 pieces, but they don't. Knight c6 is played. In that case, we're up a pawn, so let's just start trading off. Queen there. Let's play a move like rook e1. Bishop e6. We can continue by playing bishop e4 potentially. Could also just play a move like a4, eyeing bishop e5 ideas, which is what we're going to play now. Move like a4, guys, doesn't hurt. I mean, it just offers you up more opportunities. You know, if you see move like a6, you got a5 as well. Just trying to advance. In this case, let's think ahead a little bit here. So we could take... yeah, let's not take. Let's just take the rook. And then knight d4 doesn't work because the queen's on c5. Just bring the bishop back. Queen c4 is played. We can't activate our bishop and our rook here. Pawn there. Let's play queen e2. Queen b3 is seen. We can now just bring our rook over. Bishop there. I'm tempted to just go for it. But I'll play more calm. I'll play more calm. I wanted to take on e8. That may have been the best move. Potentially. But what the heck. Rook there. You know, I'm tired of all these back rank mate threats, so let's just play h3. Again, never hurts to play a move like h3. b5, take back. Again, I want to freaking take on f6, but I can't. I can play a move like queen g5, though. Really trying to put some pressure on that knight. Rook d5 is played. Let's play queen h4. Something's going to have to fall here. Rook h5. Okay, queen f4 is played. Okay, we'll go check. We will go... Captures is there. We will throw a rook into d8. I'm not seeing a way for black to hold on to this bishop. There. Boom. 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 Mate in one threat. And threat there. Okay, I mean, check. Boom. Game over. Keep it rolling. Alright, as black, again, c6, d5. Hopefully you guys are seeing this is very simple to play. I personally position like this. There's a lot of different things that we can go with. I kind of like just taking, and then here we could play bishop f5, but this runs into knight g3, and then h4 and h5 attacking our bishop. I like just playing knight f6. It's simple. You know, the whole idea here is that if white does take on f6, we just capture back with the e-pawn, and we have very easy development from that point forward. Here, there's some ideas we can go with. One is potentially this move of e5, which looks kind of crazy, but You know, takes on d1, take on e4. White's going to have two isolated pawns right in the center of the board. It's going to be hard to defend those. I actually might go with that option. e5, put pressure on d4. Okay, so bishop e3 is played. White not wanting the smoke. But I'll take on e4. And now I have queen h4 check ideas, eyeing the pawn e4. Gosh, I mean, guys, the Caro-Kann, you can fall into trouble very quickly if you're not careful as white. Let alone if you're playing the Saragossa opening with an extra tempo. Now we got check. Queen e2. We'll capture back. We can capture on d4. And, okay, so we're up a pawn now. White does have an edge in development for sure. I think we can respond with knight d7. Potentially f6. I got to find a little safe score for my king. Actually, c7 might be the way to go here. It's always nice to kind of tuck your king behind, you know, c6 or f6. You know, kind of really limit the activity of your opponent's knights. Okay, we see castle and king side in that case. I'm just going to continue with f6. I'm trying to just keep white out of here at the moment. Knight f3 is played. Bishop c5 is an option for sure. Although I might just kind of play quietly here. Play a move like king d8, king c7. Just try to slowly get my position back. I'm up a pawn, but white does have a big edge in development. So you got to be careful. King c7, b6, bishop b7 are potential options. This knight's not really going to move for a while. Bishop c4 is played. In that case, let's just play bishop d6. Knight e5, not quite yet. Start with b5 here. b5, a6, bishop b7. Yeah, we can play there. Got to keep our bishop here on c8, because if we play bishop b7, white is able to capture, and we'd have to take back with the king, which would let white play bishop c5. So if we take back with the king here, guys, bishop c5, we're simply losing. We got to take back with the bishop. Even now, white does get counterplay with that move, but we don't lose a piece, right? So attacking the rook. At this point, guys, you know the name of the game: trade, trade, trade. Play bishop g4, keeping my bases covered, attacking the knight, which is currently pinned to the rook. Yeah, let's just keep that knight pinned for as long as we can. Yeah, rook d8. Take back yet again, knight d4. So here white with a knight. As you guys know, I prefer knights over bishops, but I am up a pawn. We'll play c5. I just got to make sure that this knight doesn't gain leverage on this side of the board. Man, this knight is not very active at the moment, but, you know, again, move like c4, all of a sudden this knight's right back in it. So I'm going to play bishop e6, and, yeah, try to make this knight a prisoner to the pawn in a2. At this point, I'll start activating my king. Knight d3, okay, white doesn't really care about the pawn, so I'll just take it off. Play bishop f7, gotta limit the activity of that knight. a5, passed pawns must be pushed. This pawn isn't passed, but we're gonna try to make it passed. King b5 options in the air as well. a4, I wanna play a3. Okay, I'm fine with that. I'll just take, play a3. Not seeing a way for white to stop that passed pawn. I mean, a2 is, yeah, a2, a1, we're done. So, yeah, it's a ball game here, folks. We can just play a2, check. You do get the bishop, but I don't really care. I have a queen. In that case, let's just win the knight. Knights can be tricky, especially in bullets, so, you know, I always just try to get that knight off as quickly as I can. Let's keep it rolling. You know what we do. Saragossa opening, Caro-Kann, Semislav, you know the name of the game. Playing c3 here. Pre-moving d4. Yeah, putting pressure on c5. Here we can just capture back and then start developing our knights. Knight f3, knight c3. E6, we'll play a3. I don't want to allow bishop b4 ideas, knight b4 ideas. Black also playing very well here with a6. I'm going to play bishop f4, actually. And, yeah, put some pressure on e5. Knight f6 is played. I'll play e3. b5 here from black. In that case, this knight is a little bit vulnerable to attack. So let's put a rook there. You know, we're looking at knight takes b5 ideas still. Even now, I mean, knight takes b5, bishop takes b5 looks kind of tempting, honestly. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to take on b5. This is one thing I really like to do in the Sargasso. If they do play c5 and take on d4, take with the c pawn, get your rook activated, and look for opportunities on the c file. Obviously, I want to take on b5, but I missed the fact that queen a5 check simply wins that minor piece. So I think I just made a big mistake. But that being said, okay, you move on. Queen b3. I still want to try to put as much pressure on b5 as I can. Queen a5 check is seen, and against that, I mean, knight d2 is ugly because of knight e4. Gosh, king d1, knight e4. Seems like I kind of fumbled this one off. Knight d2, knight e4, Could bring this king up one square, but that's just ugly. Man, that is not what we want. But that's what we're going to get. King e2. Okay, so obviously, guys, that was a mistake. I missed that queen a5 idea. Definitely premature on my part. Now we got bishop a6 ideas in the air. I mean, my position is just falling apart by the move. By the freaking second right now. Play knight e1. I'm just trying to get this king some room to run away. Bishop e7. Okay, black here not going for anything risky, which is kind of sucks on my end because I want them to risk things and make mistakes. G4, guys, I'm losing this, so why not just start playing crazy chess? Try to make my opponent to make a mistake. Rook G1, trying to create as many imbalances as I possibly can. I mean, I literally have a king on E2, which is pretty ugly, if we're being honest. F5, H3, knight F6. If we do take the pawn, we're simply just going to lose a bishop, but whatever. At this point, I don't care. Take on G7. If you do win my bishop, I will win your knight. So, okay, I mean, knight E4 is played. Rook takes there. Looks interesting, but no crazy tactics at the moment. I could play F3. I'll play F3. I'll kick that knight around. Guys, I'll be shocked if I don't lose this. I mean, yeah, it's just hopeless. I mean, I missed that queen a5 idea. If I could have taken on b5, I think I would have had a really nice game there, but I just missed that queen a5 idea, and then I tried to make up for it. So, you got to be careful. That's one thing, too. I mean, rook c1 is a great idea, and you can get good lines against it with it, but, you know, sometimes developing a queen or having a castled king really helps your cause. So, this knight's attacked. My opponent here, running out of time a little bit. Bishop c4 is played. Okay, I mean, I don't really see any option but to just capture again. Now I'm attacking two knights. Not that, I mean, it is interesting. I'm not saying that I'm good here, but I'm saying that it's interesting. It does seem as if I do have some chances, to say the least. Queen d5. Okay, so here black just trying to trade down. Okay, I'll take there. Bada bing, bada boom. You want to do that? You want to play Q? I can play Q. I'll play there. Play the king up. I want to play bishop e5 check. If I can get that in. But my opponent doesn't want me to, for a good reason. Bishop e5. Look at fate. Bishop e2. I'm still down 2 points of material. H6, bishop g4. Bishop g5. Ooh, in that case, we can play bishop d6, attacking both the rooks. Guys, never count yourself out, okay, in chess. Never think that you're losing. You know, never think that it's over, at least. And never think that it's over on the other end of things. You know, never think that you're too far ahead or that you're too far behind. I guess that's a life lesson too, right? I mean, when you get comfortable, when you think you're the man, when you think you're it, when you think you got all the answers, that's when you're in trouble. And, you know, when you think you have no chance, that's when you kind of lose hope. So bishop b5, check. Take on d5. check, play there. I obviously just hung a piece because I was giving a motivational speech. Boom. I will play d5 myself. I will bring this king back. There. Check. King back, rook back, d6. Check. Rook there. Rook there. Okay, it looks like I might lose this one, boys. Boom. Boom. h5. Just keep pre-moving like crazy. And, okay, looks like we got a draw. New opponent. Keep it rolling. Okay. As always, Saragasso opening c3. d4. If you want to take, that's cool. I'm just going to continue now on knight f3. Knight c3. Bishop g5. I'm a big fan of this move against g6. Yeah, just puts the pressure on black a lot of the time. e3 is played. Castling kingside, bishop d3. Trying to take away that e4 square. I mean, if you want to, again, you want to give me the bishop here this early on in the game, I'm totally cool with that. Bishop e6. Okay, so here black kind of wasting some time going back and forth. We as white can just throw a knight right into e5 if we want to, which is definitely not a bad idea. I think we'll play a3 first, though. Never hurts to get in that move. Prep b4, stop b4 ideas. Knight c6 is played. In that case, let's just castle kingside. Rook c1 on the way. Maybe knight a4, knight c5 from that point. Okay, so, black going for a similar idea, right? Knight a5 and knight c4. So good play there from black. That's some good chess right there. I think I'll respond by throwing a knight of my own into e5 because you just left that square. Try to cover that square of c4. Cough once. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I just said that because of the username. Interesting usernames here on Chess. Knight e4. Let's see. I could take on e4. That's not a bad option. Could also play something like b4, but then bishop. Okay, that's definitely not it. Could take... Huh. That's interesting. I think I'll take on e4. And then... Let's see, capture back again. Yeah, f6 is the idea here. I'm assuming. Seems like the idea. Bada bang, f6. Okay, I mean, attacking two of my minor pieces. The question is, how can I get something back, right? So if I play there, knight... Could take on g6. That looks interesting, so I'm just going to do it. Take on g6. I'm now up 2 points of material at the moment, but they're going to obviously get a minor piece out of the deal. In there. Okay, so they do take on g6. In that case, I'll take back. I'll take on f8. I'll probably play f4 here. Yeah, play f4, try to break through that f-file. So here black, I mean, black has the edge. There's no way around that. I mean, 3 minor pieces is hard to go against, no matter how you cut that up. So I got to try to find a way to create some counterplay. Maybe queen c5, attack that knight. Let's see. b6, we'll play queen g5. Knight there. We can put some pressure on that bishop. See where it wants to run. Queen there, we got... it doesn't quite work. It doesn't quite work. Might try to go for something crazy like h4, h5, h6. Okay, queen there. In that case, let's face it. Gosh dang. Okay, d5. Let's play e4. I want to get d5 in. Obviously, I mean, black just has so many freaking pieces on the board right now. It's hard to go against all this. d5 would be nice to kick that bishop off from f7, but you know how that goes. Obviously, bishop takes d4 can't be played because it's pinned to the king. Knight takes b2, though, so this queen's trying to get active. Nice play there from black. I'm going to play d5. Check. I'm going to bring the rook back because I don't want to lose it. Queen check. Move the king over. The bishop's still under attack. Obviously, my rook is not as active, so that's not good for me. But queen f7 comes in. Maybe rook f5 if I can swing it. Okay, I mean, queen check. We'll take on e7. Queen h4 check. Ideas in the air. This bishop's pinned, which is nice. Okay, in that case, I will check. And I will take that bishop. Still only up 1 point material, far from over. Rook d1. I mean, guys, it's just hard to expand here, right? Bishop e5. Play the rook over. Play rook f1. Now we're saying even material. That's why two minor pieces take that every single time over a rook, honestly. Knight d6. I will bring this rook down 1 square. There. We'll play there. King f3. Rook b6. We'll capture. And boom. Somehow we got out of that by the skin of our teeth. Interesting game here. I mean, here's white. We got, you know, a rook and a king versus 2 pieces, so that's -1, but we do have 3 pawns, so this is winning for white. That being said, a lot of work ahead. I mean, these 2 minor pieces are going to be hard to get rid of, and this king is also very solid, so definitely a lot of chess left in that game. All that to say, it is better for white, even though it's going to take some nice play. All right, so you know what we do. We're continuing now with c6, no matter what the opponent plays. c6, d5, knight f6, e6. Honestly, I should have probably brought that bishop out first, but you know, sometimes it is a possible option to kind of leave this bishop on the back rank and fianchetto it. I usually don't play like this, but it kind of falls under that Kali-Zucker type style, which is definitely very playable. Here we're still going to be able to break through, hopefully with an e5 option, and the whole idea behind that is that, okay, once we do that, this bishop is going to be active as well. Knight e5, kind of putting a wrench into that idea for the moment. Obviously, if we take it with the knight, we just lose material. If we play a move like queen c7, we face f4. So I think here, the move might be just taking there, and then playing knight e4 ourselves. So we play knight e4. So now our knight is under fire. We are attacking e5, but e4 can also be attacked very quickly. Bishop g4, interesting move. Obviously f5, en passant, and this bishop's going to be attacking e6, so we can't quite do that. We could play queen g5 potentially, not at the moment because of this queen takes c7 move, but I'm thinking maybe just knight c5 seems like a solid option. Yeah, let's play knight c5. Offer up a trade of queens, defend the pawn on e4. I'd say the one downside of this is that this knight is potentially pinned to the rook on f8, so white could really mess up our pawn structure here if they want to. That being said, we're going to trade down. It's not like white's pawn structure is amazing either. Okay, so we do see that move, bishop a3. Against that, let's just... Yeah, I mean, I don't really see the point. I mean, we could play queen c7. That is an option. That is an option. But I don't really see the point of keeping queens on the board at the moment, so I'm thinking of just... yeah, just trading off queens, throwing a rook over on d8, the very next move. I mean, queen c7 runs into queen d6 ideas. Still, rook d6 is played, but it's not quite as bad. In this case, we'll just capture back. We will play rook d8. Position like this, the big question, is this pawn on d6 a strength or a weakness? I think right now it could go either direction. This bishop on f5 is, or sorry, this bishop on g4 is honestly super annoying. So I kind of want to just get rid of it. At the same time, what's it really threatening, right? So I think I might play a move here like bishop a6. Whole idea being that, okay, this bishop no longer has an escape square. They're white, you know, preventing us from ever playing knight b7 ideas. I don't think I would have played it anyways, but okay. I mean, we got bad pawn structure now. f4 is played. I'm not going to take there. I'm going to play f5 myself. This bishop cannot go back. Okay, so the bishop goes back to h3. Bring my king to f7. So here I gotta, you know, kind of nozzle my king in here. Play g6. g5. Okay, so here white playing very well, locking it up. Nice play there. Yeah, they don't want me to play e5. Now we got a bishop trade offer. I think in that case I am going to play e5. It looks crazy, but I'm going to do it so that I have king e6 available. Obviously, if you take, I'm going to play king e6 and take your e5 pawn anyways. So yeah, I'm just trying to, you know, this pawn is very annoying, but at the same time, I'm trying to make this a weakness as quickly as I can. In this case, I'll take on f4, play king e6, and this pawn's going to drop. So now we're just up a pawn, but we're down on time as always. Yeah, we can play there. Play move like f5. Boom, boom. Rook g7 might be a move here. a4. We'll play king d5. We'll offer up a trade. c4. I can't play king d4. I gotta bring my king back. Do have potential rook b7 ideas now. Potential. Rook h6 is always annoying though. Okay, so hold on to that pawn. At this point, it's like, what am I doing? Okay, so we're doing that. We're doing that. Okay, we're doing that. Pawn for a pawn. Okay. 2 pawns for a pawn. Rook g3. Okay, let's get rid of this guy. Play there. Actually, I may have fumbled this endgame, actually. Yeah, I think I did. Because this king, notice how my king really has nowhere to go, and this rook's just going to keep making progress down the side of the board. Yeah, I'm trying to find a stalemate here, but it's going to be tough, to say the least. King b6. Yeah, I mean, okay, this is just resignable. I think that's the first loss of the day, but let's keep it rolling. Okay, c6 here. So that is one way to play, guys, is by fianchettoing your bishop on b7. As I said, you know, I kind of just forgot for a moment to activate my bishop first, which happens at times. That is very playable with fianchetto your bishop, but I personally have better success just getting my bishop out and then playing the move of e6. Here I'm going to play h6 because I don't want to allow knight h4 ideas, trapping my bishop. Okay, you want to trade? That's fine. I'll play here. I got solid pawn structure now. I'll play moves like knight d7, a6, rook c8, c5, queen b6 potentially. Okay, knight d7 is played. b4 might be the move here. a5 though. Put some pressure on that pawn. Okay, a6. Let's see, c5 is definitely an option for us, so we're going to do it right away. I don't want to allow this b4 move first. Okay. Position like this, do we take it with knight, do we take it with the bishop? I'll probably just take it with the bishop, get my back rank piece out. I mean, this knight's already developed. b4 is played. Okay, let's play bishop a7. Silent bishop, but deadly, attacking the weakest pawn in chess on f2. Knight e7 now. Eyeing some key squares. Let's just castle kingside. Yeah, I'm cool with castling kingside. Knight b3. We can play. Okay, so we got some options. I mean, we could play queen c7 actually, right? To start putting pressure on that e5 pawn and getting a hold on the c4 square as well. Next move, we can play something like knight g6, put some pressure on that pawn as well. So here white's going to have to try to hang on to it at all costs. Unless they decide not to, obviously. Bishop e8 is now an interesting maneuver. Yet again, just giving all that we got to get that pawn on e5, which is actually what I'm going to do. Bishop e8. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 attacking pieces all on that pawn. White only has 3 defenders, and they cannot keep defending unless they play c4, of course, in which case we just capture back. Which is what we see. Okay, so c4. Wow. Okay, so we take back. I'm cool with that. So we're up a pawn now. Knight a5 is played. 1, 2, 3, 4 defending pieces. I only have 4 attacking pieces, so that's not going to work. Could play b5 here to try and just... Yeah, but then b5 runs into potentially queen e4. So, okay, so nice play there from white, attacking c4. I could play c3. Rook c1 obviously can be played, but then I do get that pawn on e5. So, okay, let's play c3. Let's play c3. Kind of just disconnect that bishop, right? And then if they pin me, that's okay. Now I get this pawn on e5, right? And that's exactly what we're wanting. Knight takes. Okay, so we see bishop takes. We'll go knight takes with check. Queen takes on h2. Here knight h4 is an option. Like, I mean, king e2, but for what? Could play knight f4. Knight f4 actually looks pretty good. Yeah, let's play knight f4. Now I'm threatening a mate in 1 on h1. Attacking that king. g3 is played. Okay, so that does get white out of it. Of course, we can just check here. Play a move like knight d5, attacking the bishop. Still putting some pressure on g3. We're up 2 points of material, but I've said this 30 times. As always, we're down on time. Knight takes on b7. Interesting. Okay, so in that case, we will slide our bishop over 1 square. Rook c8 potentially is an option. Rook b8 as well. Just kind of trying to pester that knight a little bit. Knight d6. We'll attack that knight. See where it decides to run next. Knight e4 is played. Okay, I don't like that bishop. Let's just get rid of it. Still a very active bishop there. Rook d5. I want to play rook h5 potentially. Or maybe even rook f5. So just trying to give myself some options here. Rook over 1. We'll play rook f5, attacking the queen. Play queen g4 now. This knight moves. White's in trouble on f2. But of course, I mean, what's going to force that knight from moving except going to c5, in which case it, you know, kind of limits the activity of the bishop. Let's play f5 here. Rook f6 on the way. Still on queen d1 ideas. Okay, f4. Rook g6, holding on to my rook for dear life. Take on g3. Okay, in that case, I'll just say thank you for the queen, not the rook. I'll go check. I'll go check. Check again. g5. Okay, I'll just take the pawn. Let's play f3. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you for the rook. King e3. Queen f4. Pawn up. Boom. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, here we go. c3, as always. Preparing this d4 push. We'll capture back. Okay, g6 is played. Okay, knight f3. We'll take back now. Queen takes d4 is an option there, but I usually just take back with the c-pawn. Knight c3, bishop g5, e3, Guys, similar setup every single time we do this, and it's going to give you a solid middle game position. You know, move 8, move 10, move 12, etc. H3, as always, you want to give me the knight, I'm cool with that. Or give me the bishop for the knight. Knight c6, okay, now the question is, okay, where do we put this bishop? E5 is probably going to be coming soon. Could just play bishop b5, start putting pressure on that knight. Kind of try to distract black from playing e5. Castle kingside now. Queen a5 is played. Let's just get rid of that queen. b4. Queen b6. Okay, interesting opportunity here for white. That being that we can take and then play knight d5, but of course this bishop is just going to be prone. So let's play rook c1. Just defend this knight. Kind of open up the c file a little bit. Put some pressure there at least. For y'all that are still hanging, big shout out, guys. 1 hour in. Let's keep it rolling. Trying to hit 2200 this video. So we're almost halfway there. A6 is played. Hopefully you guys are learning some ideas in the Saragassa and the Caro-Kann from this. A6, okay, so if you take, pawn takes back, or queen takes back. There's a lot of options there, actually. Or we could just keep the tension, right? Drop this bishop back, 1 square, ask this knight what on earth it's going to do. And now we actually do have a threat, and that's taking on f6, and then playing knight d5, and now as white, we just have a completely one game. I mean, you know, give up a piece, or let me play knight d5, in which case you have to give up an entire rook, or just give up the queen, for that matter. Now attacking the rook. Okay, let's keep it going. New opponent. c3 as always. d4. Knight f3. Activate this bishop to g5, attacking the knight. e3. Knight d2. Queen b6, interesting. Okay, black really putting some pressure on us. I mean, okay, knight h4, I could always just trap that bishop, of course. Right now the pawn on b2 is being threatened. Just play a move like knight b3. I mean, this knight isn't super active, but it is limiting the activity of that queen. We can now trade off for the bishop on f5. Okay, let's just castle kingside. I mean, if they're going to play bishop g6 and then take my bishop, they're just wasting time at that point. a5 is played, however, so here black wanting to play a4 and kick my knight around. So, and look, if a4 is played, right? Like, for example, let's say I play a4 right now as white. Well, I could capture on d3 and then win my knight, right? Because if I do play a4, this knight no longer has a defender. So this queen's simply going to be overworked. So because of that, I got to get rid of this bishop. I got to get rid of this bishop and then play the move of a4. That way, this queen is no longer overloaded. I think now I can just bring this knight back to defend it. Queen c7. Okay, so the queen kind of gives up a little bit on that idea, but now we have a mate in 1 threat, which is obviously, you know, it's a threat. You know, if your opponent is threatening a mate in 1, might want to stop it. So let's stop it. Let's play f4, going into a stonewall type setup now. Knight g4. In that case, thank you for the knight, right? Bishop takes. I'm not going to take with the pawn. I'm just going to take back with the queen because I do not want to allow this queen to have any more activity than it needs to have. So we take back with the queen. Knight f6 is played. I mean, drop the queen back, right? Knight h5, queen f3. You want to do that. Let's activate our knight. Let's start looking at ideas like b4, you know, expanding on the queen side. Why not? Knight d3, knight e5. Drop the queen over at f3. So now I'm going to take this knight 4 squares to 4 moves to attack the queen. By the way, guys, if you have a knight, just know that any squares, any positions 2 squares diagonal of the knight, it's going to take the knight 4 squares to get there. So this knight really is not a threat to my queen at the moment. I think I'm actually just going to play h3, so that these rooks don't really have any hope against h2. And now I'll start to expand on the queen side with b4. Knight f6. Okay, let's just capture back. Okay, obviously c3 is being attacked, so let's defend it with e4, advancing in the center, breaking through, defending that pawn. Take back with the knight now. We're up in material. I have no problems trading down. In that case, let's just throw in a little Chekorinsky against that king. We could take on b7, but I think I'll probably just take on f7 actually, attack the rook. This just gives black a ton of weaknesses, including knight takes e6, followed by just winning that rook now. With a rook that's going to be close to being trapped. In fact, okay, we get a rook. We're now going to get a second rook, and this game's simply won. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, c6 as always. d5 on the way here. We'll look to capture back if they do take. So okay, they advance, activate the bishop, right? They capture right back. They play a move like knight c3, capture on e4, play knight f6. That's why I play. Bishop f5 is actually the main line, but I don't really like it for black. I think this is just more simple and gives us more of an even game. Sure, we have double pawns, but okay, I mean, this pawn on f6 isn't really going to be a weakness anytime soon. Now as black, we can just develop with bishop g6, castling king's side, bishop takes h7 ideas don't exist as well. Bishop g4, pinning that knight to the queen. Rook e1, okay, knight d7. By the way, white can force us all the way back to g6 and then capture on g6 with the bishop, but in that case, we're going to have a pawn cube, and I actually like playing with pawn cubes. I think that it gives us a, pretty solid position to work with. The pawns are hard to really take advantage of, and on top of that, our king's going to have really nice king safety. So again, g4 could be played followed by a forced pawn cube. I'm not worried about it. I actually think my guy Pepper Westwood had a pawn cube game that I covered on the channel. If you guys look it up, pawn cube chess giant, pretty nice Caro-Kann game there as black that got a pretty nice win. So big shout out to him for that game. Queen e2. I mean, okay, I'll just move a rook into the action. If you want to move your queen there, I don't mind pinning two of your pieces at this point. Okay, the question is, do I break things open? I'll wait a moment. I'll play rook d8. The pressure is mounting. c4 is seen, and got to be a little bit careful about back rank mate ideas. So I'm just taking a quick gander here before I do something stupid. c5 takes, capture with the bishop. Yeah, I don't see a problem with it. c5, put pressure on d4. This rook is obviously pinning that bishop to the queen. We got potential back rank savers here with the knight and the bishop on the d file. d5, this gives white a just to protect a passed pawn. It is interesting though, because that's going to give me huge control of the dark squares, so time will tell if that's going to be good for me or not if white does decide to push. But white does not. White plays queen to c2. Interesting idea. Trying to get a little intermediate idea of bishop takes h7. Obviously, we could take on f3 and mess up the pawn structure, but then we're going to lose a pawn in the process. So, but that being said, if we lose a pawn, we can trap that bishop. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take on f3. I'm going to take on f3 and allow this whole idea being that I can play g6. This bishop is now trapped. And if white does do that, then I can simply capture back again. Whole idea here, guys, this would be disastrous for me if, because this queen's right next to my king. But notice the main idea here, rook g8. This queen is now pinned to the king because my king got out of the way. Another reason why sometimes moves like king h1 don't hurt, right? Because if you're playing aggressive, this king on g1 can actually become a target. Okay, he wants a rematch. Let's give him a rematch. We'll play c3 with the Saragossa. d4 pre-move as always. Okay. d4, knight f3 pre-move. I mean, I guess black could try to play something crazy like e5, but I mean, that's just a big mistake. Why would anyone ever try to play that? Knight c6. Okay, maybe a little premature. This knight could become pinned, right? I think I'll respond to that by just playing bishop g5, attacking the knight. If you want to attack my bishop, I'll just bring it back to h4. Okay, that's exactly what we see. Bishop f5 is seen. Okay, let's play e3. Pawn pyramid in action. Queen d7. And now I have that bishop e5 idea against the knight with knight e5 ideas in the air. f6 stops this. Great move from black there. In fact, if black doesn't play f6, I mean, knight e5, queen a4, this knight's going to be in trouble. Black's going to have a very hard game to work with there. So f6, nice idea. I could play queen a4. I think I'll wait a moment, though. I'll play knight d2. a6, we're still going to have queen a4, because if you take the bishop, I'm going to say thank you for the rook. In this case, I will play queen a4, attacking the knight. King b8, right? Because I'm threatening to take the knight and then win a pawn. So king b8, trying to, save a pawn there. In that case, though, I mean, I'm cool with just kind of messing up black's pawn structure, right? Take on c6. Black has some serious issues to deal with now, especially after we take on e4, because c5 is a big, big weakness, right? So we're going to really be eyeing the c5 square potentially for our knight on f3. Obviously, we can't play knight d2 in this case because we would just lose the pawn on g2. What we can do is just castle kingside. c5 we capture. e6 might be the move here for black. Yeah, and that's exactly what we see. So black wants to play b4. I don't want to allow that, so I'm going to play b4 myself. I see this as a major, major weakness in the future, so I can't allow that c5 move to happen. Okay. I can get my bishop trapped here if I'm not careful because of that g5 idea. So let's just play h3. Let's play h3, give my bishop some room to tuck away on h2. Bishops are very interesting. They're not like knights. This bishop on h2, if they play h4, bishop h2, this bishop may seem very passive, but guys, I mean, it's going all the way down to the square of c7, right? So it's really not bad. Okay, you want to do that? I'll play there and knight h4. This bishop is very active on e4, very annoying. c5 is weak, but obviously none of my pieces are close to it at the moment. Bishop d6 is played. Okay. Man, f3 is tempting, but I just lose a bishop. If I play there, rook captures, bishop back. I actually do have enough time with that. So, well, no, I can't, though, because if I take on d6, then knight h4 is being attacked. f3, maybe. I'll try it. f3, attacking the bishop. "46 seconds. As always, I'm running out of time. Bishop moves. Let's attack the bishop again. We got to keep attacking this bishop, right? Because our knight is being attacked on h4. You attack my rook, I attack your bishop, attack my rook, I attack your bishop. Okay, there. I think black could have actually taken on h4 potentially. But okay, we'll play g3, defend that square. So now notice what I did, right? I didn't play this well enough, and I made myself a big weakness on c4, where this bishop is taking advantage of now. I'd like to take on f3 if possible later. I'd also like to kick this bishop out by bringing my knight to d2. Bishop e2, I got rook h1 lined up. I mean, neither of our pawn structures are looking that great. I mean, none of us have nothing to brag about when it comes to pawn structure at the moment. e4, I'll play knight back, which I'm totally great with. Okay, knight h4. Rook h1. Rook h2 now. Okay, rook g1. f5, we can play rook h3. I'm just kind of moving back and forth at this point. Rook h2, rook h3, rook h2, a4. Okay, I'll take and take. e6, rook there. Okay, king over. Rook over again. Interesting position. Pre-move to g6. Okay, I think I just lost this, guys. Yeah, main one. Game over. Keep it rolling. Got to get to that 2200 mark. We got c3, d4, take back. Knight f3 here. Knight c3. Bishop g5, attacking that knight. As always, e3. a3 never hurts, right? Okay, you want to give up your bishop. I'm cool with that. Knight c6. We have bishop b5 ideas. Played that in a past game, and it went okay. Could also just try b4 here, right? Just start taking up space on the queen side. That's another way to do this. A5. We got b5 ready. A6. Nice move from black there. We'll play bishop c4. Try to put some pressure on that king. Rook there. Okay. Let's play rook c1 and also fight for that diagonal or that file. Okay, knight takes d4. We can now play check because we got to get something back for the bishop. And then we'll follow by taking on d4. Okay, interesting position to say the least. My position is a little bit loose. I have not castled yet. At the same time, I have the c file. My rook is defended on c1. I am attacking b7, so there's a lot going on here. d5 is played, so black just trying to lock my queen down. Nice play there from black. Obviously, knight e4 ideas are being threatened. Castle kingside, knight e4 is played. I play a move like queen e3. Bishop takes d4 is played. I take knight takes d5. Okay, I'm okay with that. On castle kingside. Knight e4, I got queen e3 lined up. Yeah. So, obviously my queen here, trying to hold on to everything at once. My knight also putting some pressure on e4 and d5, potentially. This bishop putting some pressure on e7. Knight takes d5 is played. In that case, I will take on g5 myself, while also attacking d5. Bishop takes d4. I can now capture on d5. The question is, do I do it with the queen or the knight? I think I will take with the knight in this case. And, okay, here... Turns out, actually, if I take with the queen, I lose the knight. If I take with the rook, I lose the pawn on f2. So here, black, with the better game. That being said, I do have some tricky ideas here. Rook c8, knight e7. Far from over. Until it's over, obviously. Yeah, rook takes up to... Okay, so I could take with check. That is very tempting, to say the least. But king f7 is played. You know, position like that, guys. Let's just... I mean... Okay, check. I could play rook c8 as well. Of course, check is played. That's my queen, which is not fun. Yeah, let's just get the king out of the way. Rook f7 is probably going to be the move there for black. Bishop f6. Okay, that's another way to do it. I'll play queen g3, attack the rook. Queen b3 options. Yeah, let's take queen g4. At this point, guys, I'm just trying to stall him out on the clock a little bit. F5, we'll play queen f3. Okay, b5, rook c6. Rook d1, I got king h2. Okay, I'll just play queen up. Queen check. Interesting. A lot can happen here. Queen e7 check. Queen f8. Rook c5. This pawn's gonna fall. Or it's not gonna fall. There. Queen e7. Wow. Talk about a crazy position. Goodness gracious. Check. Check. I think we might just have to settle for a draw here because it's the time. New opponent. Keep it rolling. Okay, here we got c6, d5. We can capture back. Play knight f6. Knight c6. Okay, knight e2. Interesting option here from white. You know, the whole idea being if bishop g4, we got f3. I actually think this is a really creative way for white to play this. I'm going to play aggressively and just break through with e5 in that case, though. Take back with the knight. Okay, so I have an isolated pawn. As mentioned, this gives me space, but this can also become a big, big weakness. Got to be careful. I will... There's a few different ways I can go about this. Bishop c5 is interesting. I'll go with that. Put some pressure on f2. Castling kingside. Let's go with h6 to not allow bishop g5 now. I was actually okay with that, the move before, because the bishop takes f2 and knight g4 check, winning the bishop. But now bishop f4, we can just, drop that knight back. Bishop back to g3. Castle kingside. We're kind of playing like an Caro-Kann's defense type game now with these knights in front of the king, obviously. But on the king side, actually more like a Black Knight's Tango. I mean, the Black Knight's Tango / Mexican defense is more of a, it's like a Caro-Kann's defense, but the other direction. Knight d2 is played. Let's see, we got knight h5. Could also just play b6. Bishop b7, bishop a6. Both of these are going to be nice diagonals for our bishop. Knight f3 is seen. In that case, let's play bishop a6. Rook e1, rook e8. Knight e5, okay, so let's play knight e4. Attacking that bishop on g3. Obviously, we're ready to capture back. Knight c6, we'll probably play a move like queen d7, or queen f6 as well, also works. Okay, knight f5 though, interesting. In that case, I think I will just continue by, queen f6. So queen f6 looks interesting, but it runs into queen takes d5, right? Again, got to be careful about your isolated pawns. They can become big, big targets for the opponent. Knight f5, I might just continue with queen d7. But in that case, bishop takes e4. Rook takes, I go down the exchange. Okay, I don't want that. Nice move. Knight f5, very resourceful. What if we just get rid of the bishop there? Get rid of the bishop, eye this rook, try to distract the queen a little bit, potentially, or get this knight back. Okay, so it's a position like this now. We can play queen f6. Queen d2 is seen. Let's play rook to d8. I want to play d4, right? I personally am not too comfortable with isolated pawns. I usually like to go against an isolated pawn. It does give us space, but it's just a big weakness. It can be tough, so I usually don't like to play with them, but it depends on your style of play. I mean, there's players way better than me that love playing with isolated pawns and pushing for the win with that. b4, let's just drop this bishop back. Let's play bishop c4 now. a5 maybe. a5 it is. Bishop c5 probably on the way here. Yeah, just trying to eye that knight. Although knight f5 is also an option for black. Knight there. Okay. Yep, let's play there. Eyeing f2. Knight e4. Knight e6. Trying to trade down. Knight f5 will take. Play rook e8. I'm looking at rook e2 ideas actually. Doesn't quite work though. So we'll just take on d4. And then we'll play the move of rook e2, attacking the queen and this pawn on f2. Capture back. Okay, I almost moved the bishop. I would have lost that game in one move. That would have been tragic. So I'll take on d4. I'll then play g6. I mean, I got a queen, guys, but I'm down so much time. Queen c3 check. Queen a. Queen c3. Pawn up. Pawn up. Queen up. Pawn up. Queen there. Check. Okay, looks like I might lose this one. Potentially. I'm winning, but white has a very nice fortress setup. Check. Check. Ah, I thought he was going to play a better move. Could have won that. Okay, on the next one. Keep it rolling. Yeah, I mean, king d3, I won the pawn. I just assumed that he would have held onto the rook, but he didn't. So I had a one game there, but I messed that one up. d5. Okay, let's take towards the center. Play knight f6. Attack this bishop. Just play e5 now. Take control of the center. Bishop c5. Knight d7. Castling kingside. Let's start playing a little more aggressive. Rook e8. You want to do that? That's cool. I can just drop my bishop back now. Let's just play bishop d6. It's a more classical option. Now we got knight d5. So now we're playing against the isolated pawn. I mean, if you want to take, I'll just have another attacking piece against that pawn on d4. So okay, we see bishop f4. Good move there from black or from white. Knight d5 is playable. We'll take again. We will capture with the queen. Knight c3. Okay, so again, don't take here, usually because it just solves all the white's problems. Just bring this knight back. Keep the pressure on d4. Keep the pressure on h3. King h2 is seen. Yeah, let's play bishop f5. Rook d8 on the way. Attacking that pawn. The big key, guys, against an isolated pawn, trade, 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 and then just put as much pressure as you can. Put white into a defensive stance. Yeah, we can start pushing out with h5. 3 is played. Oh, interesting. I don't know if that's the right move for white. Okay, we just play h4. f4. Okay, so now we're going to lure this king out. Knight h5, king h2. It's not really great by any means. c5 looks good, but d5 can be played. Check. Check's interesting. Let's throw in a check. Because now we got 1, 2, 3 pieces all attacking the pawn on d4. Isolated pawn again. Trade down. Go after that pawn. On top of that, in this case, I mean, this king on g3 is really drawn out. And we have 3 major pieces against 3 major pieces. So, by the way, major piece in chess is a rook or a queen. A minor piece is a knight or a bishop. And then finally a pawn. Actually, pawns aren't even considered a piece. Pawns are just pawns. Isn't that a little offensive? Queen there. We could just go up a pawn, but I mean, position like this, guys, why not? Why not play a little more aggressively? We could play queen g6. Let's play here. Let's form a battery ram. Eye the square of e3. Keep an eye on f4. Whole idea being, if rook f3 is played, we now have queen g6. We still have leverage on the second rank. So we can now just play rook e2 with check. And okay, we got ourselves a win here. Rook f2, we take, king back, queen g2, checkmate, game over. Bada bing, bada boom. New opponent. Let's keep it rolling. C6, guys. Caro-Kann / slot defense. This is more of a Slav now, based on white structure, but okay. I mean, knight f6. Again, try to, you know, I personally like to activate my bishop. Of course, white here, not really showing me where they're going to put their knight, right? Now they are, in that case. Okay, we'll finally move our bishop out. I'm just a little bit hesitant at playing something like bishop g4 before knight f3, because first off, a move like queen b3 can be played. White could also just play f3 and just start kicking our bishop around. It could be tough, so I kind of like to wait until we see a move like knight f3 and then play bishop g4, or just put the bishop on f5 if you've had enough of, you know, enough of the waiting game. Play bishop g6 now behind our pawn pyramid. b3. Let's play knight d7. We're pinning this knight. I want to get in a e5 move soon with this pawn. h3 will bring this bishop back. Rook there. Let's just do it. e5. This knight is pinned, so might as well make it a target. g4 is interesting. White does have to be a little bit careful about sacking ideas there from a practical level. On top of that, we could always just bring our bishop back. In this case, we're actually threatening e4, which would pin two pieces. Okay, so we see a capture. In that case, we will take back with the knight. Bishop e2. Well played there from white. Yeah, well played. Just holding on. Even then, though, I mean, I could take on f3 with the bishop. This bishop decided to get distracted from the pawn on c4, so we can now just capture it off. Yeah, take on c4, we're just up a pawn now. Could also play knight d3. Knight d3 is kind of tricky after takes. Whole idea being if queen, we got bishop h2, we win the queen. And it attacks the rook and the bishop. I think my only problem with knight d3 is that rook e2 can be played. Not really seeing anything there. Yeah, so I'll probably just take the pawn back. Okay, queen d3. Okay, so white doesn't want to take the pawn. Actually a good idea, honestly, because, I mean, that knight is going to be very active. In this case, we'll just take another pawn, though. See a pawn? Take it. Why not? Let's play a move like queen e7 now. I'm going to hold off on playing this. I want to be able to, you know, play here on queen e5 whenever I want. Let's play a move like rook d8 now, supporting this bishop. Knight a4, okay. I am just going to kick this knight around with b5. Knight b6. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so this knight, I mean, it's kind of uncomfortable. At the same time, this rook could capture on a6 at any moment, which is definitely in white's favor. We as black can just maybe play queen c7, honestly. Attack that minor piece. Okay, here, bada bing. My idea was to take, check, boom, and eye that rook. So let's try that. Check against the king. Bishop c5 is also an option. Very playable. Just trying to trap that knight altogether. Bishop h2. You know, let's just go with this. Looks a little bit safer. I'm also down on the clock. Now the question is, can I trap that knight as planned? I can definitely try. Play a move like rook b8. Of course, knight a8 is played. What an interesting option there for white. Wow, because I can't hang out on the bishop unless I play queen d6, obviously. Bishop d4. Knight a8, queen b7. Okay, bishop captures there is also an option. Let's take back. Knight a8 still, queen b7. Okay, so they're white going for the The good old queen endgame. I can capture back. Maybe like rook b8 now. Queen e5. Centralize my queen. King g7 ready to go. Yeah, king g7. Queen c5. Trying to open up this king if I can. h5, h4. Okay, b4. I want to play queen c3 actually, because this pawn would be too far advanced. Okay, well, we'll go queen there. White might go for a perpetual. White here taking their time. Roman Vega. G4. Okay, I'll just take the pawn off. I'll throw in a check now. Queen c3. Pre-move there. Okay. Bada bang, bada boom. No checks there for white. Black with the one game. Keep it rolling. Okay, c3. d4. Capture back. As always, knight f3. Okay, so here black really playing aggressively. They're trying to give us an isolated pawn. Or trying to, take off our pawn on d4. But I'm going to take on c5. Usually I wait till the bishop moves, but in this case, I'm actually completely okay with getting a position where black's going to have this isolated pawn on d5. As white, I'm now going to play knight c3, put some pressure on that pawn immediately. And man, e4 looks interesting. There's some opening lines where e4 works. I'm trying to see if it works here. My big concern is d4. Knight there, bishop out. Doesn't look that great. d4, knight b5. Yeah, okay, doesn't work. Could play bishop g5 though. Pin that knight to the queen. Keep some pressure on d5. d4 got knight e4 ready to go. So we're now attacking this knight. Okay, queen there with check. I got bishop to d7 now, or knight d7. Or knight d2, I mean. Or queen. No, queen doesn't work because I just lose a knight. Okay. Yeah, let's just bring the bishop back. It seems like the more logical option. Gain a tempo against the queen. The queen can't take on c5. I mean, the queen can go back to d8, in which case we could get a perpetual. Okay, queen d8 is played. If we bring this knight back, we're going to get a very passive game. Let's play bishop g5 one more time and see if they're really wanting a draw. I don't really want to draw, but they might. I could play knight d2 still, but it's just so passive. So I'm going to play bishop d2. Queen b5, okay. Black going for the old b2 pawn here. Not worried about that. I mean, I'll just mess up black's pawn structure. Play a move here like e3, attack the queen. You want to take on b2, I'll take the pawn d4. d3 is played, however. In which case we have bishop c3 ready to go. Attacking f6, attacking d3. Defending b2. Bishop f5 is seen. Let's play... a4. Nah. Bishop. Knight h4 is interesting for sure. Just attacking that bishop without letting it get captured off, right, by like a knight or something. Let's play knight. Let's play knight h4. Attack that bishop. Trying to get rid. I mean, obviously black can play a move like castling queenside and keep defending the pawn d3, but I'm trying to get rid of this bishop right away. I'm trying to get rid of this bishop before black can really solidify this pawn at d3, because this pawn's going to be a nightmare. I can't develop well with it, so I got to get rid of that as soon as I can. Queen takes e5. In that case, let's just take the bishop off. Take on d3. Offer a trade because we are up in material. And we see a trade. Bishop e7. Yeah, let's castle queenside. Active bishop pair here, pouncing down on the king side of the board. Rook g8 scene, g3, attacking the pawn on h7. h4. Black's definitely got some pawn structure issues they got to deal with. You know, I don't like playing against knights, and I like playing with knights, so let's get rid of that knight if we can. Take. Boom. Okay, in that case, we just got bishop a5. Thank you for the rook. I was almost going to take the bishop because it would be a one king endgame, but it's okay. We can just get this king out first. We can really sack this bishop whenever we want. Play f4. Looking to play king f5. King f5 now. Okay. We could sack the bishop. I keep wanting to sack, but yeah, we'll just keep the material on the board for at least a moment. Okay, now we will. Take on f6. Take on f7. We'll go check. We'll go check again. We'll go pawn up. Go pawn here, king here. Black here actually playing really well. Holding on in this game. Playing very vigilantly. Check. King down. Queen over. Okay, so now I got to trade. I'll at least get a draw to this. If not more. It's hard. It's hard to play. Okay, it's also hard to not get a drawn endgame here. Goodness, Solomon. It's hard. It's hard with queens to not just fall into a trade if you're down material like that. Okay, queen over. Make a second queen. Queen over. Queen over. Check. Boom. Let's keep it rolling, y'all. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, c6. d5 is played. Capture back. Knight f6. Knight c6. Bishop g4. a6. You guys know what we do. Bishop h5. I mean, if you're still here, it's been almost 2 hours. It's been an hour and 43 minutes. I mean, you guys know what we're about here. Getting that bishop activated. Knight h4 is played. Okay, we'll just take there. Continue with e6. Not sure what that knight's really doing now. I mean, it's not a bad piece, but okay. Now this knight's going to go back. Not a bad piece, but it wasn't a good piece either. So that's a nice little maneuver from white. a3. Nice. Nice move from white there, not allowing knight b4 ideas or bishop b4 ideas. It's black. Let's play knight a5. I like this knight a5, knight c4 idea, and a6 makes this possible. Move like b3. Let's start to really put some pressure on the knight on c3. Bishop d2. Okay. We can play b5. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Play b5. Just start to, put some, get a little skin in the game on the queen side. b4 could be played, but just because it can be played doesn't mean that it should. All right, so I'm trying to think through that. Whatever. Play b4. Attack the knight. Pre-move there. Now this knight is under attack, so this knight's going to run, or white's got to try to do something crazy over here. Okay, white. Okay, I missed that idea. So obviously this knight on a5 is just being attacked, so we could win the knight, but we're going to lose our knight in return. So, but I mean, okay, I'll just castle kingside. I'm cool with that. This rook on c1 is a little bit passive. Take on a6, but I'll get some material in the center. Okay, we'll take on c3. We'll capture again. We'll capture again. Play h5. Knight e4, attacking the pawn. I really played this move to get some escape room for my king, right? I mean, here we're able to take on g5 now, attacking some key squares. Knight f3 check. Thank you for the pawn. Knight takes b3 is an option. So we're up a pawn now. Should be able to pull this one out, hopefully. Knight e1. Yeah, let's just take that guy off. Attack the rook. Rook goes over, we'll play knight c5, attacking the rook on a6. Okay, knight e4. Attacking the rook and defending our own. Okay, so now we're just up 2 pawns, 3 versus just a solid pawn chain of 5. I gotta be a little bit careful about that c pawn. Okay, we'll just play check, we'll play knight f5, put pressure on that pawn. Position like this, guys, there is no need to rush. We have a great fortress. We can put a rook on c8 and eye some key squares as well. You know, maybe start to advance a little bit with a move like rook c4, but, I mean, there's no rush. There's no reason to play anything crazy here. I remember one time I was playing against Susan Polgar in a exhibition, in a simul, and I had a one game, I had 3 knights, or sorry, I had not 3 knights, that'd be weird. I had 3 pawns and a knight against a rook and a king. That was it. And I managed to lose the game because, you know, I had a knight and 3 pawns versus only a rook and a king, but, you know, I kind of just started pushing 2 of my pawns down like crazy. I got super nervous. It's like, no, just keep everything together. There's no reason for me to just start hurling 1 pawn down, get my king active. The second this king jumps in, I got g5 ready. I think in this case I actually can't play h3 because g5 is ready to go. Just taking that pawn on f4. We will now take with the rook. And now we just have a 1 king endgame. I mean, there's just no way White's going to get out of this. f5 on the way. Got ourselves 1 game. Keep rolling. c3, d4, knight f3, bishop g5, pinning that knight. Let's play e3 here. So, guys, I haven't had a ton of chances in this video to do this. Usually, the opponents are really rushing, taking that pawn. But, guys, if they don't, I personally kind of like taking with the e-pawn. I think that it gives us some range on the e-file. It makes knight e5 options very nice going forward. I'm not going to trade for that knight. There's no reason to right now. I actually like bishops a lot more in the opening and the middle game. And a lot of positions, especially if the position's open. But, you know, end games, knights are dangerous. There's no way around that. So, okay, bishop a6. We'll now throw our knight into e5. Got some potential ideas to gain some initiative on that knight. Queen a4 definitely looks interesting. Queen a4, knight c7, something like that's forced. I just take a pawn on a7. I mean, I don't know. Looks fine to me. Yeah, let's go after it. Queen a4. Okay, knight goes back to b8 instead. In that case, yeah, it's a pawn. Let's just take it. Knight c6, we can always just take back if we want. So now we're just up a pawn, guys. Take that guy. Play queen a4. Get our queen out of there. I don't want to get my queen trapped. No reason to give the opponent more opportunities than they need. Knight e5, options available again. Queen b3, put some pressure on b6. Okay, just bring my bishop back. I kind of tempted to trade back, but guys, I'm up in material. There's no reason to, again, there's no reason to risk it all in a game like this. Knight e5 looks interesting again, but then knight d2 is played. So we'll just play. Let's play rook e1. Just eye that knight. I'm okay if you take my bishop. These light squares are weak now. I'd like to maybe get my queen over to h5 if I can find the time to do that. Okay, let's play knight e5 now. If you play f6, your pawn on e6 is going to become a weakness for the rest of this game, so you got to be careful when moving your pawns. In fact, against that, I might have knight g4 ideas. Actually, h5 runs into that, but you know, we do have ideas against that f6 move. Queen c7. Okay, I'm just gonna play a really quiet move here, or seemingly quiet. Queen c2. Just trying to get my queen over there. King g7. Good move there from black. Let's play f4. Let's play f4 and just really solidify the positioning of that knight. That way we can take with the f-pawn. g6 is played. We got queen g6. Throwing our... That's not what I meant to do. Throwing our queen in there. Obviously knight f7 doesn't work, but we can't just take a pawn. And here we have the option of... We could take a queen, but why not get more out of it? Why not play knight g6 with check, force this king over, and then take the queen, and then take the rook, right? And then take the pawn on e6. Absolutely crushing position for white now. Let's keep it rolling. c3, d4, e5. Wow. Okay. I haven't seen that in a minute. Okay, so here black's going for like an English rat defense type system. You know, I think knight f3 is interesting. I could capture and then take the queen, but I don't know. It's all right. It's far from. You know, guys, we're here to have fun today. You know, if you see your opponent play something crazy like that, you can always just mix things up with a move like e4. Thinking take queen, knight f3, f6, e4. You know, it actually isn't that bad because the pawn on c3 is nice. So I'll do that. I'll take the queen off. I will then continue with an immediate knight f3. Putting pressure on that pawn. The whole idea being if e4, we got knight g5, and one of those pawns is going to fall. Knight f6 is played. Play e4 now. We got knight g5. Bishop c4 now. Knight b6 might be the way for black to go about that. But we see h6, okay. In that case, bada bing. Okay, h7 maybe? I mean, I don't know. Bishop e3, f4, maybe f4. Of course, the pawn on e4 would drop in that case. Let's play knight d2, just to protect that pawn. Knight b6, we can always just get our knight out and defend the bishop at the same time, which we're totally cool with. Yeah, I mean, now we're just up 2 pawns material, take back with the knight. Again, guys, Saragasso, Caro-Kann, I mean, they're just hard systems to find easily won games against. I don't care who you are. We'll play knight e3. I mean, maybe for Magnus Carlsen or something, but for us mere mortals, it's definitely hard to go against. f3, defend that pawn e4. Knight there. Okay, I don't really want your knight to be active, so let's just stop it from being active. g5. King e2 now. I feel like I'm playing a bomb cloud or something all of a sudden. Rook f7, rook f1. Of course, white probably or black probably feels like that too. b3 might be the move here. Okay, I'm fine here. I don't really think black has a way to break through at the moment. b3, king e6. Okay, black just throwing their king out there. c4, Yeah, I mean, this knight on d2 is fine. Bishop out. Let's see if you really want to trade or not. I'll just take back with the king if you do. Rook over, we can just defend the knight. No reason to give the opponent more, more activity than they need. Okay, c4 might be interesting there. There are a lot of pins in this position. A lot of pins going on. So I do got to be careful. c4. Yeah, I'm still not seeing a way for black to break through, even though black has done a great job of keeping the pressure on me up to this point. Okay, trade off. Knight b3 now. I mean, this rook is protected. Okay, so now we're still up 2 points of material. We're starting to trade down. We're starting to simplify this position. Of course, I keep forgetting that I have a clock. We're at 32 seconds. Let's start to speed this up. Knight c3. King e3 f4 might be the move. This bishop can get out. Okay, we'll just defend that pawn. Rook d4, we'll play king up. We'll play check. We'll capture back. Whole idea being now we have knight f3 with check. And we say thank you for the rook. And now that's just winning. If I can manage to not lose on time. Okay, we got a resignation. Keep it rolling, guys. Almost at 2 hours. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of tired. Dang. Gaining 100 points on lead chess. And 3+0 takes longer than I thought it would. But all that to say, we're out here. We're doing our thing. c3, d4, knight f3 now. Bishop f5. Okay, I mean, another option here, guys, is just playing a move like knight h4 in a lot of lines. I'm just going to continue with my usual bishop g5, followed by knight d2. Okay, black spending a lot of time here. I mean, bishop f5, bishop g6 without me even forcing it. h6, knight e4. Let's attack this bishop on g6. Let's take this bishop on g6 because now black's pawn structure is absolutely destroyed. We got double isolated pawns in the center of the board. And I can just go after this pawn right away. Very quiet move, queen c2. Don't need to do nothing fancy. If you defend it, I'll remove the defender. I'm up a pawn. g5. Okay, bishop g3. Knight f6. f3 is interesting here. It looks fun, so I'm going to do it. Just putting pressure on e4. Whole idea being, I now have a little Checker-Runsky here on g6, followed by taking towards the center of the board, so that bishop h3 ideas are in the air, and e4 as well as e5. e6 is played. Yeah, let's start to put pressure on that center. I don't want to trade here. Black's king is a lot more prone to attack than mine, so let's just keep the pressure on here on black here. Queen e7, e4 now, d5 in the air, e5 in the air. Probably d5. I like d5 a lot at the moment, but of course rook d8. Black not wanting me to do that. So I'll play queen c4 just to put some pressure on these pawns. Obviously, I mean, king c8 defends the pawn c7, but then the pawn in e6 falls. And then if that is played, we just have queen takes, and we have ourselves a one game. All right, here we go. As black, we're pre-moving c6. We're pre-moving d5. We'll capture back if they do decide to do that. Okay, we'll play a6. We'll wait and see if they want to move their knight. They do want to move their knight. We'll activate our bishop. We'll pin the knight to the queen. Queen to b3. Wow. Okay, let's play b5. Kind of crazy, but at this point I'm trying to win games. Takes on d5. We'll capture back. Knight e5 is now played. I'll play e6. If you want to take my bishop, I usually don't want to give my bishop, but in this kind of instance, this knight is very active, and I'm very underdeveloped on the queen side. So, okay, h3 is played. I'll play bishop h5. I'll bring my bishop back. g5, wow. So knight e4 is now the big decision. Do I want to play knight e4 and offer a trade? Do I want to play knight d7 and offer a trade on, I'm going to offer a trade on e5. I just think that's the better route to go. I mean, this knight on e5 is a monster. I'm prepared to take towards the center of the board. f4 is played. In that case, I will take here, forcing d takes e5 unless they want to lose the pawn on g5. Guys, white has super overextended pawn structure. So let's go after it. Let's play h6. Look to take back. Yeah, I mean, h4, we're still going to capture back. Pawn's this far pushed at move 13 of the game. I mean, this is going to be a great endgame for me if I can get to that point. I'll take here. Now this pawn on e5 is a weakness, so let's play knight d7, attacking it. h5 isn't a threat, or it wasn't a threat at the moment, because if you took, I win the rook. Even at this point, h5 runs into just queen takes g5. You know, guys, here I could take this pawn, but I'm actually going to play knight c5 instead, attacking the queen, right? Whole idea being the very next move, I'm going to get knight d3 check with tempo and then take the pawn. That way white is not able to castle. So really we have the same instance here, except, you know, I kind of went in a little loop so that this king couldn't castle. Queen d4 is what we see. Do I want to play knight c4? Knight c4 is not bad. Knight c6 just looks solid, though. Attacking that queen. Asking it where it wants to go. Bishop f3 is played. Thank you for the queen. And, okay, now we're just winning. Bishop d6. Bishop e4. I'm okay with losing some material if it means that we're going to simplify the game. Play g6 now. h6 is played, so white does have some passed pawns, so let's remove the defender of the passed pawn on g5. Or try to. e5 can be played now. We are now attacking this bishop. There's some things we can do here. Let's just play queen d4. Okay. Just take on e4. We'll take there. We'll capture the bishop. We lost some material there, but it's fine. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, we're just winning this. It's a much more simple endgame. As I've said, you're up 13 points in the endgame. You're up 4. You're up 7. A win's a win. You know, as long as the bracket ends with the W, you're good. c4 is played. Let's play c6 and d5 now. We'll capture towards the center of the board. Play knight f6. Okay, let's activate our bishop. Attack f3. Knight d7. We'll play e6 first, just so we're prepared to take towards the center of the board. Knight e5 will bring our bishop back to h5. We might see an f4 idea here, potentially. Potentially. I mean, this pawn hasn't moved on e2, so I might want to be a little careful about that. But, okay, we'll take towards the center of the board now. So we'll have that open to e-file for our rook later, or our queen. So, okay, we do see f4. In that case, I mean, queen b6 is actually not a bad option. Just putting some pressure on d4 and b2. The king goes over. Nice option there from white. Just getting the heck out of the way. Play bishop g6. e4 a little bit. I don't really want to take this knight. I mean, if I take this knight, then I mean that f file just becomes a monster. That rook's going to become a monster on the f file. Knight there. I'm okay with trying to get that knight off the board. f5 is played. Okay, we'll play bishop h5. So now we got potential knight takes e5 and knight g4 ideas. Obviously, this opens up my king position a little bit, but it will give me potential knight f2 check ideas. Because if I take here, this diagonal is going to become open. So bishop f4 is played. White's probably wanting to take back with the bishop. I mean, I can also just castle. Never hurts to castle. Yeah, just castle. h3 is played. Nice move. White here obviously want to play g4 ideas. Trapping my bishop, which is not fun for me. We could just take on c3. Take there. Actually, not seeing if I can get... I don't know if I can save my bishop, honestly. This is not good. Okay, well, if I can't save it, I can't save it. Take on c3. Take there. Play knight out. Yeah, nicely played by white there. Yeah, just g4, and white all of a sudden is going to be up a piece. That being said, can I get anything back for it? That's what you got to ask. When you make a mistake, is there anything I can get back? Is there any way I can get a fighting chance in this game? At the moment, I'm not seeing anything too great. Might just have to capture that pawn off. And then let's play something like c5. Queen goes over. I'll defend the pawn. I see e3 there. In that case, let's push with c4. If I can get a rook into d3, that would make my life way easier, but it looks like my opponent isn't going to do the exact opposite of that. So, okay, we'll capture back. We'll now play g5. Absolutely terrible move, but at this point I'm just trying to create some counterplay and some chances, you know, try to mix things up a little bit, even if it's probably not in my favor. G5. Yeah, I mean, this pawn ain't going nowhere anytime soon, so I'm desperate to get rid of it. Okay, so I do get rid of it. But of course now white has a killer attack on the king side. Queen d3. Bishop f6 is, well, the rook hangs though. So a game like this, I mean, I might just have to try to play for a perpetual. Even then, I mean, it's not looking too great. Queen e2. At that point, I'll play pawn up. Okay, let's play pawn b4. Let's go Caro-Kann. Caro-Kann. Just keep checking, keep checking, keep checking. Check. Nice. Nice play from white there. Just throwing the king all the way up. Resignable game for black. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, so we got c6, d5. We'll take towards the center of the board. Knight f6, bishop g4. I mean, guys, I mean, this just gives you a very, I mean, really just gives you a very predictable game, right? I have a hard time saying that word for some reason, but very predictable. You're not going to see, you know, a ton of things change game to game, right? You're kind of looking at the same kind of thing each time. Here, white putting a ton of pressure on b7. I think in that case, I mean, could play queen b6 as an option. Of course, that gives me double isolated pawns, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, queen b6. Offering up a trade here. Knight c6 is going to come shortly after that. e6, bishop d6. Might see e3 here, potentially. Bishop f4, so here white not interested at all in, yeah, taking our queen, which I understand. Bishop f4. That's tricky. I mean, knight c6, knight takes d5 is definitely an option. Because a knight c7 check, knight takes f7 check. Well, I mean, it's not that bad. Knight takes d5. Oh, no, it's that bad. It's that bad. Okay. Knight c6 doesn't work. e6 might work. e6 might work. Might, people. Let's just do it. e6. Trying to get my bishop involved. Play a move now like knight c6. Assuming we're going to see bishop b5. Bishop e4 would run into us just losing a freaking piece. A6 runs us into losing us. It just makes us lose a queen. Knight d7 is ugly. That's frick. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Knight d7. Gotta trade off this knight somehow. Even if it means my king is running out to d7 like a freaking crazy man. Bishop takes c6. We'll take towards the center of the board. Queen captures back. Okay, so here white. Okay, so white going up a pawn. I obviously misplayed this game, guys. Yeah, we'll do that. Question is, can I trap this knight? Probably not. F6 looks interesting. Of course, that runs into knight b5. You know, I'm going to try it. I'm going to play f6 here. I'm looking at rook c8 ideas. Of course, knight a7 could be played. But, I mean, you know, okay. Tuck a king away. Tuck a king away, maybe. Notice if knight b5, we have bishop e2, which is killer. So, okay, rook c1. White here playing very well. You know when you have one of those games and you kind of hope your opponent plays bad, but they just don't. They just keep playing good moves. Bishop e4. Okay, and now I'm just hanging a piece. I think I'm getting tired, guys. I got to get together. We're over 2 hours in. I think I'm getting tired, but okay, let's go. c3. I got to stretch out real quick. Hope you guys are doing good if you're still hanging out. d4. Knight f3. Okay, knight c6. A little bit premature, potentially. g6 is played. You know, bishop g5 looks crazy, but it looks fun. Bishop there. We'll play e3. Knight f6. We can now look at bishop e5 ideas for sure. Or we can just play knight d2. Let's play knight d2. And just try to play this normal. Knight e4 is played, however. In that case, we will take and play knight d2. Going after that is a big weakness. If f5, okay. Queen d5 is played, so my bishop is a little bit prone to attack, so let's get that bishop out of there. Play a move like bishop h4. Bishop f4 is also interesting. I was a little bit worried about e5 there. Of course, I also have bishop c4 with tempo now, if I want. Could also play queen b3 and offer up a trade. Take towards the center of the board. Keep pressure on e4 with the knight. Queen f5, maybe a move here for black to defend that pawn. If we do see that, we got ideas like bishop b5, potentially. Maybe even just dropping the queen back and going, how are you going to keep defending that pawn? Which is actually what we might do. Of course, the question is, does our bishop get trapped by g5, h4, queen d7? Yeah, we might lose something there. Okay, let's play h3. I'm a little bit worried about g5, h4, and then queen takes d7, kind of just chasing my bishop everywhere. I'd have to play bishop e5 there, and it gets a little bit messy. So I'm going to play h3. Castling kingside is seen. In that case, I think I can now drop this queen back. Yeah, drop this queen back and ask black how they're going to try to defend that pawn. This queen's obviously in an awkward spot, and, you know, f5, bishop f5 is no longer an option because the queen's taking up that square. g5, bishop g3. Okay, here we go. I mean, this is really what you're wanting, guys, with this opening. I mean, a solid structure. You got a, you know, you got a pawn chain, pawn pyramid here all the way up to d4. Black taking some time here. We got Freeweedy Greer. Freeweedy Greer. However we say that. That's his username. Black here, spending some time on the clock, which is not a bad deal for me. G5, okay, my response to that is going to be pretty simple. Bishop G3, I'm now attacking C7. I have H2 now available, which is nice. I'm attacking E4 and C7 now. Top of that, if I do take on E4 with the queen, I have Bishop D3 ideas. In that case, I'll just capture on C7. F5 might be played. That is played. I'm going to get my king the heck out of there. Castling kingside. E5. Okay, D5. Kick that knight around. Knight E7, D6. Knight C4. Okay. Nice move there from black. In that case, I'll play D6. I want to play Bishop C4 potentially. Okay, I will play Bishop C4. Offer up a trade there. Queen B3 is also an idea. Knight A5 does not work because of my bishop there. Bishop F8. Yeah, let's play that move of Queen B3. Take back with the knight. Defend D6. Knight takes E5 options if this knight ever does leave somehow. Okay, king there. Let's throw a knight. Let's throw a rook into there. Actually, D7 is highly playable there too. Can actually just take on E5 and then play D7. Whole idea being if you take here, actually that was just an error. Again, I'm getting tired, guys. But okay, we keep going. Bishop G3. F4. Okay, we play there. We play there. How do we stop this? We go there. We go boom. We go check against the king. We go check against the king. We go bada bing. We go bada boom. At this point, I'm just trying not to let promotion happen. H4, make my opponent think a little bit. E4. Okay, Queen H2. Queen F4. Okay, thank you for the bishop in that case. Game over. Keep it rolling. So that was obviously a mistake. I pushed a little bit too hard there at the end. I mean, just hold on to the pawn. We're good. As always, guys, C3 Saragossa opening. D4, Knight F3 now. Knight G5, Bishop G5, Knight F6, Bishop G5. Castling kingside. We're wanting to play E4 here. Okay, it doesn't happen. That's cool. E3. Bishop F5 from black. So I could have ideas like Knight H4 here, for sure. For sure. Or I could just throw a knight into E5. So why not do that? Now I am protecting the square of D3. Knight D7. Okay, so here Bishop could get trapped with a move like G4, or at least get forced back to E6. Yeah, F6 is the threat here, for sure. Probably just take on D7. Play Knight F3, Bishop D3 in the way. Just trying to play simple chess right now. I mean, if you want to kick my bishop, I'll just go to H4 and I'm going to be fine. Okay, Bishop G4. Okay, you want to trade down? That's cool. Knight F6, I'm assuming, or something like that. C6, okay, defending the pawn on D5. That's another way to do it. Let's play H4. F6, Bishop F4. Bring that bishop back to G3. Yeah, that's interesting. Takes, so again, usually I do take with the E-pawn. Of course, if I do take with the C-pawn, Queen A5 check is played. So either way, it gets kind of ugly. Okay, I guess we're taking with the E-pawn. Rook E8 check. We will play bishop to E2. Position like this, if Queen E7, I cannot castle queenside. Of course, now I can. Okay, this might be my death sentence, but let's do it. Castle queenside. Check, king b1, or king c2, honestly. h5 on the way. Queen a5, in that case I will just kind of slide my king over one square. Knight b6. We can play h5. g5 is played. Okay, so here black is potentially giving me some really big weaknesses to go after. I mean, this bishop's going to have to hang on to f6, and now the light squares are extremely weak. We can play bishop c7, actually, if we'd like to, and just, you know, pin that knight to the queen on a5. So right now the queen can't move anywhere except a4, and the knight cannot move at all. So this is definitely a big benefit for us. Rook c8. Yeah, let's just hold on to that bishop. Of course, rook e7 or something is played. I mean, we could actually potentially trap the queen there. c5 is played, however. So yeah, I mean, black's not wanting their queen to get trapped, which I totally understand. c5 is played. We could play something crazy here, but I don't see the rush. Yeah, let's just take on c5. Take on b6. We're attacking d5 now. We could take on d5. We could. We could also just play this move f4, which is what I'm going to go with. Keeping the pressure on d5 and now really going after this big weakness. Of course, as mentioned, I am tired because I've been playing this opening for hours. And black just captured on e2. So I just blundered. Queen e3 is played. Okay, let's capture. Let's take on g5. Take on d5 now. Down 2 points of material. Bishop there is played. We can take with check. Play rook there. Rook e1's the move here, or one of the moves. Okay, let's take that pawn off. Let's do that. Whole idea being we have a back rank mate. Okay, bada boom. Okay, king up, rook up. Okay, so now we got a king race a little bit. Check. Check. Take the pawn. You want to check me? That's cool. I'm going to start pushing up my pawns now. Like there's no tomorrow. b4, a5, king c5. Okay, there. I want to play rook h8. King d4. King c4, gaining a tempo. Check. Okay, thank you for the rook in that case. I'm going to slide a rook over to h3, and to h2, and to d2, and to d1, and then we're just going to make a queen here. And okay, we're in business. Let's keep it rolling. Almost there, y'all. Almost 2.5 hours on the clock now. You know, if you don't want to play this opening, you know, I just I made up for it in this video. Play bishop f5. Activate that bishop first. Okay, you want to trade off really quickly. That's cool. We'll get our pawn pyramid now with a bishop that is not the same color as our pawns, right? I mean, we don't want a bishop on d7 and c8 here. We just don't. f4 is played. Knight h6 looks interesting. Knight f5 now. h5 because I don't want to get kicked around at some point. a6 because I want to play c5, but I don't want queen b5 ideas. Guys, prep your moves. h5, a6. Don't give the opponent a counterplay that they don't need. We'll play check. We'll play h4. I'm threatening knight g3 with check right now. I'm actually not sure how to stop it as white. I mean, the whole idea is that knight g3, you know, if the pawn takes, we take, the rook's going to fly in there like there's no tomorrow, and we're going to have a one game. You can do it like that, but obviously we just get the exchange now. Knight g3, thank you for the rook. Play a move like knight c6. Okay, you want to trade down? That's cool with me. Knight captures back. Yeah, I'm not really seeing a way to get after this f4 pawn. Maybe by queen b4, potentially. In fact, I might just do that. Yeah, let's just do it. Queen b4. Trying to go after the weaknesses here. The big weakness here for white is f4, because if you defend it with g3, we just take the pawn. c4 is played, however, so here white trying to stop that. In that case, I will just slide my rook all the way over. Look at d takes c4 ideas. Okay, I can take now a check. I can capture on e5 now. I'm getting to that point, you know, when you play chess for 2.5 hours and you're just trying to not hang a piece. Okay, queen takes e5. Knight g4. Queen f5. Offer a trade. Come on, bro. Take the trade. You know you want to. You know you want to. You know you want to. I don't think he wants to, guys. He doesn't. Okay. Queen c4. I'm just going to castle because what else would I want to do here? I could take there, but queen c8. Don't give your opponent counterplay when you don't have to. d6. Okay, I mean, we're up 3 points of material. Could just play something like queen b5, honestly. Of course, queen f4 is played. Could play e5. Rook d5 is played, though. So white here does have a very active position, so I got to be careful. And this knight on g4 is also a headache for me to deal with. So I got to think through here. I mean, let's play b5, just kind of kick that queen around a little bit, see what white does with that. d6 is a huge strength for white, but, you know, we got to, as black, we got to try to make that a weakness, try to make it a big target. Queen c6 is played. I think I can just probably just push this guy, e5. Give this queen a little bit more mobility. Of course, rook d5 or a move like that could be played, which gives me a potential perpetual if I wanted that. Yeah, I think white made the right call there by not doing that. Queen there. Rook a8. I mean, this pawn on d6 is just a headache. Play queen e6. Start to put pressure on it. f5 would be great to get in. So we got the queen out of the way. I mean, you want to do that. Okay, I'll just take on d6. Capture, capture. And now white going for a endgame, which could be very dangerous for me, honestly. Whatever, going for it. Takes, work over. I'm gonna win one of these pawns, which is big. You don't want to lose. You don't want to have two pawns going up against you. So I made this pawn go forward. So now this pawn's a weakness. There's no way for white to defend it that I can see at least. White can't do that, but okay. Thank you for the pawn. I'll slide my rook over. Now this knight is prisoned to that pawn, and now it's a race of who can attack first. Trying to make sure white has no tricks. If I play king d6, knight d8 is just... Okay, so I'm going to play check. I'm going to slide my rook all the way over there. Yeah. King there. I'll slide my rook over again. I got 19 seconds on the clock, so I got to be careful. Could start pushing pawns here. King e5. And at 3, we got king f4. We still got king f4. Here, white using their pesky little knight to try to kind of make me just go in circles, which they are. King e5. There. Okay, so I just let my opponent get a queen because I am tired. Knight e2 is the move there. Okay, so now I got 3 pawns for... Okay, so I got to trap that knight. I trapped the knight. I got the knight. Got the dub. Let's go. Get in there, y'all. We're getting there. Okay, as white, c3, d4. Again, very interesting. Okay, that's interesting. So black here going for a gambit kind of game. In that case, I will capture back. I'll play a move like knight f3. I will kind of just play this as normal. Obviously, I'm down a little bit in development, and black does have more activity than usual, but I do have a pawn. Play bishop h4. Knight d2. Just got to play solid here, guys. Knight e4 is interesting. Interesting without a doubt. Bishop e5. I don't know what you're really threatening with that, brother. Just play bishop e2. Queen d6. Okay, let's just take that guy off the board. Bada boom, bada bang. Knight captures, we castle kingside. So guys, name of the game. You're up a pawn, even one pawn. Trade, trade, trade. I cannot say it enough. Castle kingside, rook d1, options in the air. Knight g6, in that case, let's just trade. As mentioned 1,000 times in this video. So now black, I mean, queen takes f6, queen f3. Pawn takes, you got some serious issues there. So queen f3, as always, offering up a trade. And eyeing this pawn on b7, of course, rook b8 makes the game interesting. Queen goes there. In that case, we can just play a move like knight c4, but then queen c5 happens, and then b3, and then b5, and So I'll just play knight b3. Quiet move. Knight b3. I'll start throwing pieces on d1. Fight for that open file. You want to try to play active? Fine. I'll just bring my queen to e2. I'll start trading down on the d file unless you want to slide your rook over, which they do. Yeah, h3. Give my king some breathing room. 5 in that case. Move like rook d4 looks fine. I want to try to take open this this d file if I can. Of course, c5 is played, and that's interesting. I'm going to play d5 in response to that. f4. Okay, I'm probably. I don't think I'm missing something though. I mean, where's this knight going to go? I got every space covered. I got all these spaces covered by the queen. If you take here, I say thank you for the knight. So there's that. Yeah. Knight g6. Okay, that is interesting. I'll respond with queen c4, eyeing that king on g8. Whole idea being if we move like knight takes, we got rook d6 or check, winning the queen. Rook takes, we can play rook f4 check, winning the rook, or at least forcing the rook to go back to f7. King f8 is played though, so against that, let's just defend that pawn on f4. Queen e6 looks dangerous. It really does. King g2 is played now, holding onto that pawn. b6. Yeah, we'll just bring our queen back. We're eyeing f5 now. Okay, get our queen out of the way. Of course, c4 happens now. Okay, take on b3. So now we're sitting at even material. Rook h5 in the air. I think black here definitely has the edge, but I think I can keep in this if I just keep, one move at a time. Rook d6 looks actually really good. attacking the queen. We can now take the pawn on h6. We can take the queen off. We can slide our rook over. Now we got 4 pawns for a piece. That is something you don't see every day. Potentially 5 pawns for a piece coming up. Slide this rook over, attack the knight. Play there, attack the pawn. Take the pawn. So now we got 5 pawns for a piece. c5, c6. Passed pawns must be pushed, as they say. Rook e7. We're now attacking the pawn on a7. Yeah. Well, let's just defend the pawn. Defend the pawn. Okay, I see. Black's trying to play cute. Okay, rook g5 then. We'll attack g7. We'll take on g7. Not really seeing a good way for black to get out of this. Check. Pawn up. Pawn up again. Pawn up. f5. Attacking the rook. h6. h7? Question mark? Okay, so now we got 2 rooks. We'll threaten to mate in 1, and we'll get that mate in 1. Okay, so we got almost there, y'all. Let's keep it rolling. Let's see, c6 can be played. d5, advancing in the center. Knight f6. Ready to capture back at a moment's notice. Activate that bishop before playing e6. Knight e5. We don't want to lose our bishop. Queen b3. Okay. Queen b6. Looks interesting. Capture back. Capture back. This is actually a line I'm having a hard time with, guys. Yeah, this whole idea of... I mean, here I'm just losing, right? So... Well, I can't play that, though. Yeah, I can play king d8, but I'm just down a pawn. I actually gotta, you know, study up on the opening theory, and that's 2 games now that I've fallen into trouble really quickly with that. So let me know down in the comment section below what I'm missing in that line. Yeah, just let me know. I want to learn. Knight takes. We'll play knight a6. I don't want to allow my rook to get captured off the board like that. Knight b5 is played. We will play e6 ourselves. Eyeing bishop b4 check ideas. Bishop e4. Knight e4. This is just worse for black, obviously, but at the same time, there are some ideas here. So, especially with this terrible pawn structure. My opponent spending some time thinking through this thing. Bishop d2, okay. That's a good move. I must agree. E4. Knight e4 is interesting, but I don't really know if it's that threatening, honestly. But okay, I mean, it's not a bad move. We're also eyeing f6, which gets this annoying knight out of there. Okay, bishop a5 is played, though. So in that case, I mean, we kind of got to bring our king over to e8 again. We do have this covered, which is nice. f3 is played. In that case, man, knight b4 looks fun. It really does. But then knight c7. Okay, knight c7 is played, doesn't work. Knight d6, though. Doesn't look bad. Let's play it. Knight d6, offering up a trade. I mean, if white wants to play knight c3, I have knight b4 ideas, which are, I think, in my favor. At least just looking at it at first sight. Okay, e3 is a good move. Could just play f6, ask this knight where it's going. Pre-move there. As always, I'm down on time, so we gotta pick up the pace a little bit. Ready to capture back. I mean, knight takes, bishop takes. It's definitely interesting. Not feeling too bad here unless white finds some kind of tactic that I'm not finding. But it seems like we got our bases covered. I mean, I feel like white's going to have to take on d6 and then play knight d3. But against that, I have knight b4 ideas. So, okay, bishop b5 is played first. In that case, I can just go up one square. Knight d7. Okay, so white here obviously doesn't want to allow that move, but I could still probably play it. Yeah, let's play it. Knight b4. The whole idea here, guys, is if you take the knight, I just take the rook with check, right? If not, I got knight c2 ideas here, which are interesting, to say the least. I might just have to play knight c6 though. Attack that bishop. We are now attacking that knight. Knight b6 is played. We'll play rook a6. Okay, you want to do that. You want to play cute. Okay. Rook there. Rook there, or bishop there, attacking the rook. So I might be able to get... Okay, actually, never mind. I thought I was going to be able to get material, guys, but that move just crushed my dreams. Rook there. Bishop back. Okay. All right, y'all. Here we go. So we're going to play c6. Eyeing that d5 move. Obviously, we can play that no matter what white goes with from that point. Okay, c4. So white really putting some pressure on us immediately. I think in that instance, okay, I mean, just play knight f6. Knight c6. We can activate our bishop now to g4, attacking, pinning that knight to the queen. We can now take on d5. Queen b3 is seen. I think in that instance, I'll just take on f3, and then we've got some options here. Maybe just knight b4 is interesting for sure. Maybe, yeah, let's play knight b4. Whole idea being if a3, you have knight takes d4. So here we see d5. In that case, yeah, let's play knight d4, attacking the queen. I mean, if you want to take on b4, we have knight c2, powerhouse fork, right? And we're just winning a ton of material there, no matter how you cut that one up. Queen a4, I mean, we got queen d7, right? Kind of reinstating the idea there. Bishop b5, we'll capture that bishop off, and then we'll probably take the knight on c3, followed by taking the pawn on d5. So I'm feeling pretty good at the moment. Both of these knights are very active. I'm really eyeing that square c2. I'm not really seeing a way for white to at least get a winning position here. Okay, so queen a4, obviously we got to play queen d7. Bishop b5 is played. Okay, in that case, okay, let's just take that thing back. Knight takes c5, and interesting. We could play knight c2 check. We could play knight d3 check. Bring that knight back. Could just take the pawn as well. I think I'm going to go with, well, okay, so I want to play there and there, but the problem is knight c7 check could still happen. So we can't do that. So we got to do something else. Yeah, knight takes d5 might be the way to go there. Well, I bet maybe a6, just kicking that knight out, right? Trying to force a trade. Knight c7 doesn't work here because we just take back with the knight. The queen can't capture back, obviously. White would love to castle kingside or even castle queenside and get a rook here. It's just at this point, it's just a race on who can get there first. I think a6 is coming pretty quick though. So we play Yeah, we play a6, attacking that knight. We're actually just threatening to take it with the queen. I mean, if we take it with the pawn, we're just going to lose a rook in that case. So it's not really threatening anything. Rook d1 is an interesting try here. Whole idea being takes. Yeah, so rook d1 is played. So knight b6, that just runs into a loss. We could play queen e6 with check, but that's not going to solve our problems either. So I think we have to take here. Yeah, we have to take that thing off the board. So here we'll have a trade, take on d5. Now the question is, okay, do I take on a2? I think I will. Whole idea being if you take on b5, I have check followed by winning the other rook, which I'm not going to complain about. Bishop c7 is played, however. Okay, tricky, because if I play check, king e2, all of a sudden I got to go back here, else I get mated. So nice little try there from white. I'm just going to respond with f6 though, give my king a little escape square. Yeah, just give the king an escape square. In this case, I'll just snatch off that b2 pawn, protect b5 as well. So here I'm up just 3 pawns, guys. I should be able to pull this one out. King f7, e6. Push this pawn up. I mean, should be all right. Okay, so the rook goes over. In that case, I will, yeah, just tuck my king up on f7. Pass pawns must be pushed. I mean, b4, b3 seems pretty simple to me here. b4. You know, maybe e6 to defend that pawn. Of course, b7 is going to fall, so that could become problematic. So okay, I mean, in that case, guys, I mean, my opponent's got 17 seconds. I'm just going to drop back here. You know, attack this bishop to the rook. Pin it to the rook early. I mean, it is defended, but our pawn on b4 is also defended. So we're up 2 pawns. No need to play anything crazy here. And okay, here we go. Boom. On to the next one. Okay, so we got c3, d4. We'll take towards the center of the board. Knight f3, knight c3. Yeah, bishop g5, e3. Queen b6, definitely interesting from black there. I'm going to play queen b3 and kind of just match that energy. Put some pressure on d5 now, threatening to just, you know, take the knight, win the pawn. e6, we got knight b5 ideas. Bishop e6. We still have knight b5 ideas, knight c7. Okay, so knight a6 is played. I think in that case I'll just bada boom, bada bang, take the rook, throw in a check. King d6. In that case, I got bishop f4, directly eyeing that king. Knight takes f7 on the way potentially. I mean, this king can't really get out of the check. Knight h5 could be played for sure. In that case, so we got some options. I could take on f7. I could also just take here with a check, right? And then take on f4 if they do take the bishop off. If not, I'll just go back with the check again. So now I got b8 covered. I'll play here. I'll capture back. So here white is going for that pawn on b3. Okay, I mean, I could take on a6 for sure. b3 castle. Could take on h7, b3. I mean, either way, I think I'm just going to lose a couple pawns here. So yeah, let's take on a6. Let's fly down to h7. So we're up 2 pawns, up 1 now. Maybe just drop this bishop back to d3, right? Try to hold our position in a little bit.
we might have to slide this rook over as well. So rook b3 is played in that case. Let's Oh, tricky. If I go there, rook takes, bishop f5. That is not fun. So I might have to play a move like bishop to c2 there. Maybe bishop e2 even. Yeah, bishop e2. Rook d2 check. I'll just bring my king out. Bring my king back. I mean, I could bring my bishop to d1, but I don't know. I'm not really sensing that I have a lot of power here on the king side, so I'm okay with a draw. On to the next one. 3 plus 0, let's get it. c6. Okay, my opponent's taking a while. Let's see. 3 plus 0. Okay, c3, d4. Saragasso opening, guys. Let me talk about a strong opening for white. Bishop g5, knight d2, e4 now. I will take control of the center. Bishop d3, castle kingside. This knight is pinned. I'll bring my bishop back. I'm cool with that. I'll bring my bishop back again. Knight h5, so, okay. Yeah, knight takes e5 isn't going to work here as much as I'd like it to. So, I think I'll just play a move here like queen c2. Keep trying to mount some pressure here on e5. Knight f4 is played. So here black playing very aggressively. I'll just get rid of that knight in that case. Take on e5. So, okay, I mean, black's got extended pawns. King could be in trouble if I'm not careful. That being said, I think I should be okay if I play this right. I mean, okay, I'll just take on e5. I'll swing this knight over to f3. Bishop e2 can be played. f5, interesting. Okay, so, I mean, in that case, I'll just capture back. Queen b3 would check against the king. Doesn't look too bad. Could take on b7, but the rook's going to get active in that case. So let's just get a rook active first. Rook d1 attacking the queen. Queen f6 is played. Yeah, we could just take that guy off the board because we got c7 now available. e4 is played, however, in that case, knight d4. I like to trade off. f3 is probably something we're going to see pretty soon. Okay, bishop goes back. In that case, let's play f3 ourselves. I don't want f3 to be played if I don't have to see it. So let's just play it ourselves. Try to lock things up. e3, we'll get a pawn. c5. In that case, let's knight c6 is an interesting try. Knight b3 is too, though. Yeah, let's play knight b3. Attack that pawn. Protect b2 in case of rook b8 is played. I mean, black here with a interesting position, but I think f3 kind of locked things up quite a bit. Rook g8 might be a move we may see in the future, for sure. Trying to eye my king on g1. If we do see that, I also do have bishop c4 ideas attacking that rook, though. I mean, these bishops are active, but they're kind of aimed the wrong way, right? At the moment, at least. So e3 is played. Okay, I mean, at this point, what do I do? Could take on c5. Let's take on c5. Let's go up 2 pawns, 94 in the air. Eyeing the queen. Queen a6 now as well. Knight d7. Okay, so rook b8 is played. Man, I'm tempted just to take another pawn off, but that might be a little bit over greedy. Yeah, let's just offer a queen trade. Rook b6. Okay, black doesn't want it. Black doesn't want the smoke. Or maybe they do want the smoke. I don't know. Take the pawn here. Knight d7 is still an idea. Bishop d3 is an idea too, but of course e2 ideas are in the air. Let's see. Knight d7. The queen blocks. Okay, knight d7. I'm forking the queen and the rook. Of course, queen g5 is played here. Yeah, nice play there from black. I mean, whole idea being, I just got to hold on to this bishop, right? Because if I lose it, then that's it. So rook takes e2, and I'm going to lose that guy on g2. So bishop d3 is a move there. I think in that case, the only option I have is to take off that rook. Bishop takes e2 from black. Let's play knight e6, attacking the queen. Okay, in that case, wow, that is a crazy move. I was not expecting that. Okay, take on g5. I think I actually have a win here. Rook takes g2. I mean, no matter where you go, I'm going to take that bishop now. So, wow, what a game though. Black really went for that one. Yeah, black can't just keep going back and forth, or even play rook f2, because I'm just going to take the bishop off the board. So we're going to have ourselves a one game there. Black here taking their time. Rook g5. I actually only have one legal move there. In that case, I'm going to go check. Check again. I can take on f4. Rook f7 on the way. Take on g7. Take there. Take there. Just start pushing the queen down. Okay. Throwing a check. Check. Checkmate. Game over. Keep it rolling. Okay, y'all. We might be right there. This might be the game right here. c6. d5 on the way. Caro-Kann, you know what it is. Putting pressure on e4. e5. Activate our bishop. Knight c3. We can always just bada bang, bada boom. Knight f6. We're going to get a simple game here. Knight g3. Okay, so keeping some material on the board. e5 is an interesting try here for black. Takes queen. Knight g4. Knight takes e5. I feel like Nakamura looking up at this guy. Let's try it. e5. Okay, so we got queen takes d1, knight g4 next, and a couple pawns now. King goes back. We'll take off that pawn, so we're sitting at even material now. Bishop f4 is played. In that case, let's just defend that minor piece. f3. Play bishop d6. I like that move. We're eyeing knight takes f3 tactics, which just give us a pawn, actually. So knight takes f3. We're then going to take on f4. So now we're up a pawn. Let's just take there. And castle kingside. I think a move like h6 here is warranted. Just get that knight. Just don't give it any hope, really. g4 is played. We'll play knight f6, attacking that pawn. g5, we'll throw in a little check. Yeah, I think we're able to do that. Take on g5. Okay, so white is going to get a pawn back there. Okay, so white there going for some kind of checking idea. Okay, that is warranted. I mean, I still think I'm okay here after f5, honestly. King f6. I have a nice little shelter here for my king on f6. Yeah, I'm just going to play king f6 anyways. Bishop e6 on the way, potentially. This king is active, although I'd love to check it, maybe with this rook a d8 move, if possible. Okay, so white doesn't want to allow me to do that, which makes sense. I mean, who would? Okay, I'm going to play b6, c5, try to get my pieces unraveled here a little bit. rook there. Wow. Okay. I'll throw in a check. Now white is threatening mate in 1 the next move. So I got to give my king some space to run here. No doubt about that. The question is, how on earth do I get these pieces out? I mean, this bishop is having a hard time getting out. Maybe a5, bishop a6 might be the way to go there. b5, bishop a6. I mean, I just got to get these rooks out, really. Yeah, I think g5 is going to give my king a nice little safe haven, especially because this is a light square bishop, so it's going to be hard for that bishop to really eye that square. My opponent also running down on time. Okay, in that case, let's play that idea of a5. b5, b4 ideas in the air as well. Okay, get that king out. Rook g7, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, b5. b4 check. Okay, king there is played. Okay, I might just have to go with bishop a6, y'all. Play bishop a6. g3, ooh. Okay, white's still going for the mating ideas. White not messing around here by any means. Rook takes g6 is a threat. So I might have to play that. King f6. Obviously, I think bishop takes g6 has to be played, so the rooks can hold on to each other. I have c5 ideas. The question is, can I get that move in with enough time? I could play just rook f8. I'm going to go with that move. Just stopping any rook f7 check ideas. c5, a4. Okay, so the rook goes there. Okay, I'll play rook c8. Offer up a trade there. Bishop goes back. Okay, let's play c5. I'm giving up a bishop there potentially. But at this point, I'm just trying to run my opponent out on time. Rook g6. c4 en passant. Okay, we'll take the rook now. We will play king g5. We'll play c4. Or pre-move a little bit. Boom. There we have it, guys. Finally hit 2200. That's ball game.